I would, but we weren't here.
I know.
I can tell you what I did.
Don't everybody jump at once. I need somebody to recap. I'm not doing it.
I can read Lindsay's notes. Chickapoo notes.
Sure. If Mom wants
Right.
to do recap.
Let me get over there.
Can I
Okay.
stick to the main points?
All right.
You can turn them
Shoot,
up.
I can't.
Mhm.
There it is.
Especially
All
like
right.
it's a little flat.
Session 27.
You're doing that.
Drew secret dice roll.
Sorry, it was a big.
Lost a severed finger, picked up and asked crew for help. Maddie, medicine 22, using dagger horn as an elixir. 10 HP and finger returned. No punch for now. Xena, Maddie, mourn. Concerned. Guards escorting out of city. Guards do not cross threshold at gate of this section. Xena, something on insight on guard, being in trance, and 19 shows it's out of order. Sorry, I'm
Ma,
trying to read.
it's
Yeah.
okay, Ma. I'll take over for this one. So
I'm sorry.
it's okay. We'll spend a forever
Stumbling.
going through each little detail and stuff. But guys, in the
Okay.
future, is like be talking about who wants to do recap. Okay, it's like I don't want it to be if somebody wants to take over doing recap or whatever is more permanent feature. By all means, if you guys want to trade off, every other session, let's do it that way. I just don't want to have to do recap myself. But basically, what happened is you guys kicked off the session here. You guys were, most of you were outside of the manor, so to speak, where Drew lost his finger. Managed to heal it, put it back on. You guys left. The guards escorted you out. You made your way back to the warehouse that evening. You guys had a little bit of discussion, some things going on. You guys took a long rest, and then everybody decided to go in their own directions the following morning. Obby, you went along with Angus, and you were escorting him as his bodyguard as he made his business throughout the city. He basically kept you close throughout the day. Morb, you stayed behind and worked alongside Ingus on various projects, including a third wagon that was located there somewhere inside of the warehouse, and patching up the place, fixing things up, various projects throughout there. Brew, you left early that morning under a very as a very in character poor perception check by Drum, who was on guard duty. Managed to sneak out and make your way to the manor in which you left previous day. Once inside there, you were immediately escorted in, noticing that the manor was all of a sudden like it wasn't how you left it. The outside grounds were still dead and derelict, but all of the animals weren't nowhere to be seen. But the manor itself was extremely done up again. It was, like it had been, nothing had been touched. It was completely different than it was the night before. Upon knocking on the door, though, you were escorted inside by dozens upon dozens of these similarly dressed, similarly shaped and colored servants, all running about. They all kind of seem to kind of look like the same person running about. But whether or not they were the exact same person or not, or whether they just looked alike, that says more about you, however you choose to think about that. But anyways, you made it into the main dining hall where you were introduced to the master of the house, the voice that you had been hearing for all these past weeks during your travel ever since you took the ring. Embodied. The voice of Slevin. Slevin introduced himself. You guys had some conversations. You guys even shared a cup of coffee, by which you turns out was heavily poisoned with purple worm venom. You immediately took about 40 some odd points of damage, were immediately struck down and making death saving throws. As you continued to make those death saving throws, he spoke to you, standing over your body, holding your face, whispering little, seemed like nuggets of, you don't know, visions perhaps, destinies, you're not quite sure, things that he had claimed that he had seen for you, about you. Whether or not they were your past, whether or not they were your future, you're not quite sure. And we shifted over back and forth to the rest of the group, who went along with Maddie to go check out the Mojo Dojo. After some rather hilarious checks to try and get inside and passing the riddle of entering the building, which was either a strength check to push the door open, a dexterity check to scale the wall, or a wisdom check to simply pull the door instead of push. But eventually everybody managed to make their way inside, where you were introduced to 3 masters and a cohort of students, all belonging to the Mojo Dojo. There was Sifu Manchu, the master of ninjutsu, Master Farley, the master of drunken style boxing and wrestling, and then there was Master James Baxter, the capoeira master of debate. After some minor discussions, you all chose to partake in the challenges of trying to become students and accepted at the Mojo Dojo, which would exist in taking part in something called the Agni Kai, a trial by combat against each of the masters. You all started off with competing against Master Foley, in a shots. It was called shots and sumo, where you all had to fight each other with bare hands. No weapons were permitted, and every point of damage you did was an extra foot that you managed to push everybody out of the ring 30 feet soundly at the top of the second round, or before the second round even ended. You managed to push Master Foley out before he ever really had a chance to do much of anything. A very, very sound victory. Second challenge got a little bit more decidedly challenging, where you guys decided to go up against Master James Baxter in his great debate hall. Some of the group were listening to the debate from the outside, not knowing that it was also a combat going on, and got to vote yay or nay against some of y'all's answers, and some hilarious arguments ensued against what was actually a good answer versus a bad answer. But after some people going down and taking a good thrashing or so, you did manage to survive all 3 rounds and pass the challenge. And we shifted back over to Drew in the manor, as he continued to fail death saving throws. In fact, Master Slevin plucked an eye out of his head and caressed him, but all of a sudden Drew felt something inside of him. Something altered, something changed, but it wasn't so much that it was being forced upon him. No, it was more like something awakening, something lying dormant. And he felt something move inside of his skull, behind where his eye had been plucked out. And he expelled all the venom and bile from his body and sat up and felt himself renewed. But it wasn't pain. No. This was almost a sensation of pleasure, one could say. Hadn't felt this good in a long time. Closer and closer, perhaps, to even feeling like himself, which he knows very little about. A couple of conversations ensued after that, whereas Master Slevin ended with offering a deal, basically, work for him, do some tasks, some fetch quests, so to speak, talking to certain individuals, collecting certain items, and he would reward not only Drew, but the entire team very handsomely. He would be a benefactor, so to speak, if you would do these tasks for him. To which Drew actually responded with a very coy no. And we left it from there. Shifting back over to the Mojo Dojo, the third challenge of the Agni Kai against Master Sifu Manchu, the ninjutsu master. You entered the Hall of Mirrors. I believe it was Kyron, Xena, and Drum. You were the third? I believe so.
I believe your count is correct.
Correct.
Yes, he was.
After a couple of very successful rounds of catching Master Sifu Manchu, figuring out the mirror tricks, and figuring out where he was, unfortunately on the third round, Death smiled, and Kyron had to do nothing but smile back. After a very unlucky critical hit, managed to nick a very vital artery. And before Kyron could even realize it himself, he took a few steps and collapsed. Dead. The round ensued, and were able to successfully pass after 3 rounds, completing the Agni Kai, completing all 3 challenges, but unfortunately, Kyron was beyond saving. There was no healing, there were no death saves. He was gone. Your group suffered the first mortal death in the time that you have been together. And that's where we ended the session. There was a bit of a dream sequence and whatnot, but we'll go over again that later. Is there any questions or anything that anybody wanted to add or bring up that I missed? Any details?
No, thanks, Marshall. That was great.
Cool. All right. With that, we're going to actually kick off right there at the Mojo Dojo. The third challenge has ended. The gong is sounded, and everybody is instantly transported out of the Hall of Mirrors and back into the main hall. Xena, Drum, and the lifeless body of Chiron. Xena, you're holding his head, tears rolling down your face, wanting to do anything possible to try to help him, try to save him, but he's gone. Sifu Manchu stands quietly, solemnly, and even with all your passive insight, you could tell that he's mournful. This is not his intention. This is not what the Agni Kai is about, but as they said at the very beginning, it does happen. People are killed in training. It happens. But with that, I turn it over as the students immediately clear their way away from the center of the room. The masters, all Sifu Manchu returns to his post up at the front, and all three are looking down upon you. The floor is yours. Take us away.
Well, masters, thank you for this opportunity to learn. It was an opportunity that we'll never forget, and we'll never forget Kieran and all he did for us. And we had no idea going in that this would ever happen. What say you?
The other two masters, Sifu Manchu remains silent. Contemplation. Takes his spot back up at the front. Master Foley just kind of leans forward, takes another sip from his giant goblet, and just kind of sighs solemnly, bows his head. James Baxter stands forward and is still balancing on his ball and exclaims, "You have our condolences, but I offer him a place to rest if you wish your friend to be laid here amidst the grounds. He is a member of the Mojo Dojo. He is a champion of the Agni Kai. He has passed along with all of you. You are all welcome here as students if you wish to pursue your martial training here further. But I offer him a place here, a pyre in our garden, so that he may rest in peace here, amongst the koi pond, amongst the blossoms, a place of peace, away from the chaos of the outside world."
So Xena bows and says, "Thank you. I'm sure it will be a peaceful place for him. Thank you."
Before we put him to the pyre, we will permit him to be marked with the tattoo of the Agni Kai, of passing the Agni Kai.
Thank you.
You will
Thank
all
you.
be permitted your tattoos.
Smalls is watching this whole thing transpire, and just a look of pure grief and anger across his face. Walks up to Master Shifu, stands in front of him. What happened? Smalls is just brimming with energy, ready to fight.
Are you raging?
Nope, not yet.
The cackle of the lightning, though, trickles from your fingertips as you can just feel it brimming, just like you're a simmering pot ready to explode. Manchu is just... he's calm, but he replies in a remorseful tone, "It was not my intention. I was lost in the heat of the moment, the competition. It's been a long time since we had students that were this capable. In the heat of battle,
Lost in the heat of the moment? You are a master. What kind of master loses control?" Smalls is brimming. The energy is just around him.
I think Maddie's gonna go next to start
Maddie.
back
Maddie, you're really broken up, brother.
Thank you. Much.
He's gonna switch to his phone. He'll be right back.
Yeah.
Oh. I was like, wow, that's really brimming with thunder.
Y'all didn't know I had sound effects.
Hey,
Right?
That's
Yeah, I was
okay.
like, whoa.
this is how we get our sound effects by malfunctions, because we're engineers, okay?
Maddie tries to be the voice of reason. No one can hear it over Small's crackles.
Mm.
As Smalls' looming presence stands over the rather minute Haragon but rabbit-like body of Master Shifu, he breaks his cool for just a half second as his eyes immediately dart up and just locks eyes with Smalls, and he exclaims to him, "You know nothing of being a master. You know nothing of control. I see it in your very fingertips. I see it in your pulse. I see it in your blood, boy.
You're right.
You have."
You fucking should.
I think Maddie tries to come up to Smalls and start pulling him back, not forcefully, but just trying to bring him back to the group instead of right there in front of him.
You let him pull you away, Maddie? Or Smalls?
Do you not stand up for your teammates? Do you not stand up for your team? What is wrong with you? And then returns his glare back to the master.
I think we need to keep a calm and collected head in this situation, Smalls.
And Xena drops to her knees and just puts her hands out, like, please, let's just, everybody calm down. This is very difficult, and we need to be calm in this situation. And I am having a hard time holding back my tears, holding back my anger, holding back all the things that I feel, but we have to do that right now. We all need to hold tight to what we have, and it's all we have, okay? So settle down, please.
Marshall, can I do an insight check to see if he's actually remorseful and sorry about it?
Sure, roll me an insight.
17.
17. Deeply. That's not what he intended.
I think
it was an accident. He had no intention of killing one of you, but any professional soldier knows that in the heat of the moment, sometimes things just happen.
I'm going to keep on trying to bring Smalls back to the group then. Not forcefully again, just trying to bring him back as a friend and trying to calm him down.
On a 17, you also get the impression that maybe he's trying to give a strong stance against Smalls right now because he's trying to, maintain control of his own students in this moment. As you all kind of cluster around, and Maddie, you attempt to pull Smalls back. Xena, you make your heartfelt plea to everybody. All of a sudden, Master Foley kind of leans forward, almost arches on his gigantic gut, and he slaps his hands together and just. It's just just this gigantic sound wave that echoes throughout the dojo, is almost like the paper in the walls and everything around the walls and all the decorations and stuff flutter, and almost like this wind that comes crashing through. He simply says, "Prepare him." As all the students immediately come forth, and they gently, Xena, and they try to gently push a couple of people out of the, not push, but just gently beckon you out of the way so that that way they can tend to Chiron.
Xena just whispers, "Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him."
They all nod, and it's very, very polite and very, very strategic, in their movements and stuff like that, making sure it's very evident what they're doing and that what they are moving him with respect, and moving him away from this place to go and prepare him for his next journey.
Smalls breaks his concentration on the master, looks over at the other students. Get away from him. And I move towards him. I'm going to pick him up myself.
They don't fight you. They don't argue in the slightest. They all move back, and as you pick him up, about a half dozen of them or so kind of like beckon with their hands and ask you to kind of like basically they're beckoning you to bring him this way, and they take you back to a basically a small. It's almost like a bathing room, like a kind of like a bathroom. There's a lot of like not hot tubs, but like Japanese style soaking and built into the ground. There's a lot of platforms and stuff like that. It's a place designed to like a giant steam room, so to speak. But you take him back and lay him on a giant platform there as the students immediately come in and start taking his equipment apart, gently setting it aside. They're cleaning his wounds, cleaning him up, making him presentable. And then another individual comes in. This one's a little bit older, a little bit more brazen, and he comes in with a tattoo kit and immediately goes to start working on Kyron's flanks and is applying the Agni Kai, the three symbol, the body, the mind, the soul symbols to his rear flanks. All of you
Smalls is just going to basically stand guard.
Okay. It only takes a matter of about 20, 30 minutes. This is a master tattooist. He is finished, and the rest of the students come in and begin preparing him for the service and everything. The tattooist comes to you. He doesn't say anything, but he kind of holds out his tools and is basically, in your passive insight, he's offering you the tattoo. You have passed. You are a member of the Mojo Dojo. Do you accept the Agni Kai tattoo?
Yeah, I extend a hand for him to put it on.
Okay. The same thing happens. Another couple of tattooists come out to the hall of which all of the rest of you are, and they start offering you the same thing. Those of you that are choosing to take the tattoo, you may do so now. You can have it applied to anywhere on your body. It is preferable to have it at a visible place: your arms, your hands, your neck, a place that is visible to the outside world to symbolize that you are a member of the Mojo Dojo. But it's not necessary. You notice that many of the others, students are shirtless or wearing just pant gis, and they have it on their chest or they have it on their stomach. It's a variety of places, but the placement is entirely up to you.
And quick question, just I'm curious for what my character is trying to see. Who got offered the tattoo first?
Actually, I'm gonna actually roll here. You wouldn't know that Smalls was being offered in the other room unless anybody followed alongside, but nobody did. I'm going to say that the first person that it was actually offered to was Xena.
Interesting. Okay.
It kind of went down in an order. It went Xena, and then it went Drew, and then Drum.
Drew.
And sorry, a lot of D's.
Dang.
So it went Xena, it went Drum, it went Mornrow. Smalls is in another room, and then actually the last person to be offered the tattoo was Maddie.
Okay.
So do we play that out, or how do we tell you where we got it?
You can tell me later, honestly, if you want to tell me later, if it's just among yourselves. It's not an important detail right now in the moment. Just think of it in mind of where you want to get it, and then also be thinking about this as the process goes along. The tattooist tells each of you about the significance of this tattoo. And I'm going to post the image of what it looks like in the general chat right now. I did earlier our last session, but it is the mind, body, and soul symbol: the fire, the earth, the water. So the soul is reminiscent of the fire, and the mind is reminiscent of the water, and the body is reminiscent of the earth. Red, blue, and green, consortively. It is the school. It's not so much the capoeira and the ninjutsu or the drunken style. No, it's more along the lines of a mindset. And each of you can tell the tattooist as to what specifically you would like to focus on. And each of these tattoos comes with a gift, a little bit of a magical influence, so to speak. Those that choose to follow in the way of in the way of the mind, in the way of the water, you can cast a cantrip, prestidigitation, once per day. Those of you that choose to follow in the earth, the green, or the way of the body, that is druidcraft cantrip, once per day. And those of the soul, the red, the fire, you can cast the thaumaturgy cantrip once per day. So
What's
be thinking of it's a spell.
Okay.
You can look it up later and decide. You don't have to decide right now. But basically, your tattoo can emphasize which school or which path you want to focus on. and it'll grant you that cantrip, that magic of casting it once per day. It's not powerful magic, but it's influential in the way that it allows you to. It expresses your means of wanting to focus on that path, either the mind, body, or the soul.
Okay. So, can Xena step forward and ask for a small bucket of water?
Absolutely.
Um, and she's going to use her staff of flowers to create a lily for Kieran, just to lay at his side. Do I
Absolutely.
have to cast that or just
Nah, it's part of your staff. It's something you can do anytime you want.
okay?
As you
Producing a lily for him
perfect. And this is to go with him on his journey, right?
to go with him on his journey.
Okay. All right. The floor is yours. Anybody else want to do or say anything in this moment while he is prepared and while we prepare for the next steps? All right.
Quick question,
Okay.
Marshall. I got prestidigitation and thermaturge. I can't say these words. What was the
Thaumaturgy.
third one?
A druidcraft.
Druidcraft. Okay, thank you. Taking
And
notes in
then
case I have to stuff next week.
No worries. What'd you say, Monroe?
And then, I was just saying if anyone wanted to roll an insight on Morn, the general gist that is being portrayed right now is just stare down at Maddie. And I'll say no more.
Yeah, I want to do an insight on that.
Yeah, I would too.
17.
I'll message you what you probably feel. Actually, no. Since it's Maddie rolled the higher one, so
I
Morn.
got a 25.
Oof.
Damn.
Okay, I'll definitely say it out loud then for those two. So Morin is just staring down at Maddie and noticing the order of offerings of a tattoo, and you can just see grimaces of like, I just can't believe this, and it's like a questioning behavior of leadership would be a big question, and just that idea of confusion on all over Morn's face of going like, so who's like who's being the lead now?
Hmm.
Any other conversations, insights, thoughts, feelings?
So, Xena walks over to Monroe and just puts her hand on her shoulder and says, "You can talk to me anytime you need to. And you can tell me what's on your mind because I see in your eyes there's something very disturbing. And I'm not sure where your question is. I kind of understand the thoughts of where you're going because I can kind of read your body language. But please, if you want, we can go somewhere private and talk anytime. Okay, I am here for you."
Thank you, Xena. And just patting Xena's hand. There's just too much to think on right now.
Okay.
But if I ever have a voice, thank you for noticing me. Not many. I guess you know me more than anybody. You've been near me since the beginning in all this. But
But when you're ready, I no pressure. Please. Please know that. No pressure. I'm just in the wings for you.
I just give
Without
like
my wings.
a side smile, like a little bit of a sheepish one, like, yeah, you see, I can't hide my feelings very well right now.
Mm.
But I still look over at Maddie and just give a little bit of a snarling, like, confused glare and just try to walk to Kyron's body close to it, and I assume Drum is probably over there.
Smalls is there, but Drum is not, I don't believe.
Okay.
Smalls is still watching. He's literally standing stoic, allowing this man to tattoo. Smalls, are you getting it like on the top of your hand? The tattoo.
Who?
Smalls.
Smalls got it on the top of his hand. Okay.
No, I'm thinking more of the inside of the forearm.
Inside
Left
of his
forearm.
forearm. Smalls is just standing stoic, watching, Kyron as these students prepare his body and clean him up. Standing stoically as this man vigorously tattoos this symbol into his forearm, his massive Goliath forearm. Doesn't even flinch, nothing. Nope, he's just solely focused on this duty that he has created for himself in this moment.
And I'll just wait my turn because he's before me. So.
Okay.
That's
All
it.
right. At this time, Drum is sitting relatively quiet in the corner and hasn't said much. But Marshall, I would like to use a message.
Mhm.
And I will just message the person directly. But I'm using one of my messages just so you're
Okay.
aware
It
that
has to be somebody that you can see. Keep that in mind.
correct. It is somebody I can see.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
All right. Is there anything anybody else wants to do or say? All right. Some time passes, and Smalls, your stoic watch over the students are utmost respectful of Kyron's remains. He is cleaned up. He is prepared. He's wrapped. It's almost like it's like a funeral wrap that you would almost see in like more like a traditional Japanese burial. It's a funeral wrap of like white linen cloth. His face is left uncovered. They do leave the tattoo as well that he just had recently done. They left that exposed, but he is prepared. Do you want to take him to the location that they have prepared for him to send him on, or do you want to allow the students to do so?
No, I'll do it.
Okay. You pick him up and you're immediately escorted by the students outside. Before that happens, though, Monroe, you are there standing with Smalls. You are presented with some of Smalls' belongings. You are presented with his boomerang shield, along with his robe of useful items that he purchased from Dangers, All Works, weeks ago, back when you guys were in Opus Day, as well as the rations that he had on himself. But also, there is a holy symbol that was taken from him, but it's not given to you. It's actually taken outside of the room. And Xena, you are presented with this symbol. It's a hand-stitched, hand-carved, it's like a dream catcher almost. And there's intricate weaving in between, and it's a giant tree at the center of it. And this is Kyron's holy symbol as a cleric, what he channeled his magic and his healing abilities and everything through. And it's actually presented to you.
Oh, I bow. Try not to cry. And I put my two hands out and just accept it and hold it to my heart. And thank you. Thank you.
But back inside the bathhouse, Monroe, you're presented with his boomerang shield and his robe of useful items, as well as his rations. Everything else is to be buried with him as his belongings to carry with him into his next leg of his adventure, next leg of his journey. But if you want to make a note of it, you have the boomerang shield, robe of useful items, and 5 rations. Smalls, you are escorted by the students out into the main courtyard of the Mojo Dojo in which you came in, and off onto the east side of it is a large open meadow area type. It has a ton of like these flowering blossoms, this fine open field. There are several Zen gardens of sand with intricate rock designs. And right at the center of everything, though, is a large pyre that has been built. It's about 6, 7, 8 feet tall, actually. And those of you that would know this, several of you would, that burial in this country is actually not a normal custom. Cremation is the normal custom because of, limited resources, limited land. It is considered more proper to burn the body and send the soul up into the sky, into the afterlife, following the teachings of the triumvirate church. So, with Chiron, being technically a cleric of Sylvaden, or cleric of Silva, he would follow in this tradition. They are respecting that, but allowing the ceremony to take place on their grounds.
Hmm.
But Smalls, you take him out there and you place him atop the pyre. And everybody else from inside, after your tattoos are done, the items have been dispensed over to, Xena, you have his cleric symbol. Monroe, you have his shield, his robe, and his rations. Everybody is escorted out.
We don't see the pyre, or do we?
You do. Everybody's escorted out to the field, out to where the
Is
pyre
that
is.
where we're going right now? Sorry.
Yeah. Everybody's being
Okay.
taken out that way.
Okay, good. Sorry, I was like, wait, what? Okay.
He said his magical items are passed along to all of you. All else is to be burned with him to defend himself in the next stage of his journey. Is there anything anybody wants to say or do? As the ceremony is prepared, the pyre is ready. Several torches are handed out. Those of you that wish to take them, you may.
Xena
begin.
reaches for one.
Okay.
Reach
Anybody
it.
else?
And she just stares at it and tries to imbue it with um peace and love and everlasting spirit. And she's just focusing on that, focusing on the fire.
The lily that you actually created is actually placed on the pyre with him, and actually, as you notice it, the lily has actually sprouted into dozens upon dozens upon dozens of more that are actually now, vining over his funeral pyre and completely taking it over. They are
Mm,
completely covered.
nice.
Anybody else taking a torch?
Drum will also take a torch.
Take a torch.
Okay. All right. With that, the funeral pyres are permitted to be lit. Drum, Monroe, Xena, you all approach and place your torches upon it, and immediately the flames begin to go up, and the flames begin to burn hot, and Chiron is sent on his way to the next leg of wherever he might be going. The students and masters are all here in attendance. They all clasp their hands, bow their heads in silent prayer. Is anybody else doing anything in this moment? As the pyre burnt, oh, good.
All right. So as the pyre is burning, Drum feels the need that he should say something, just for the convenience of his allies. So he's going to do a small eulogy, and I will read this and then I will post it later.
Okay.
So today we gather to bid farewell to a cherished companion, a steadfast presence in our lives. Chiron, with his sturdy frame and gentle demeanor, he embodies the qualities that endeared him to all of us and all that he knew. Chiron wasn't just a horse. He was a silent confidant who shared our joys and sorrows without judgment. In his quiet way, he offered solace and strength, reassuring the presence in all times of uncertainty. But Chiron's legacy extends beyond his physical form. It resides in the countless lives he's touched with boundless compassion. His healing touch brought comfort to the sick and wounded. His selfless beacon of hope often was often a light in the clouded world of selfishness. Me and Maddie, we envisioned Chiron's stall being transformed into a mobile tavern with wheels, adorned with shelves laden with an array of spirits from distant lands, a cozy corner for customers to swap tales and adventures with fellow wanderers. Of course, it would have a sign proudly complaining, "Enjoy your drinks while we polish your kinks." Chiron, Chiron, who had a knack for conveniently avoiding nightly watch duty and preferring the comfort of his own stable as opposed to the nightly vigil. Oh, how we'd chuckle at his clever antics, knowing full well beneath his stoic exterior he had a mischievous spirits. Cheers to you, Chiron, and the adventures that await all of us on the road ahead.
Beautiful.
Hail, hail.
As your eulogy commences, and all of a sudden the fire begins to burn brighter and hotter, the smoke begins to soar up to the heavens, and as you all wait there in silent vigil, your prayers or your sayings or whatever you want to do in this moment, actually, each of you begins to notice something as the smoke tends to spiral up in the sky and it almost begins to take a bit of a vision. But each of you sees something a little different. Mornrow, as you're looking up, you're envisioning that tower that you were at all those weeks ago. Your chest burning from that wound, from that explosion. And then you remember Chiron's healing hands. Even after you had vomited up an entire river, and then you remember the entire half the team was defeated by those vicious stares. You remember that Chiron was there and brought you back. Xena,
Hmm.
you remember the long talks about faith and healing, and through it all, even after losing your wings, that you had with Chiron, and the peace that it brought you, both then and now. Drum, you remember that damn tunnel, narrowly escaping with your lives, riding that horseman as hard as you could, holding the earth itself up as it collapsed around you, and pulling his sorry hide out of that collapsing hole before you both collapsed in exhaustion, victorious. Smalls, you remember Chiron's constant stoicism and calm, even in battle, which is something you could always respect. That, and you remember him crushing his foes beneath a fury of spear strikes and strong hoof stomps, which was always awesome. Maddie, you remember teaching Chiron hand-to-hand combat after he had talked to you after the Harpy Hag fight, and the hilarity that ensued watching this magnificent centaur high-kicking and roundhousing around the campfire. But all of you remember in your own way, in your own time, those little quiet memories as Chiron passes to the next. And just before the last embers dwindle down and reach the sky, suddenly all of you, collectively, hear a voice. It's not out loud. You can all look around, and none of the students, none of the masters they're not shaken by it. It almost seems like they're not hearing it. But you hear a woman's soft voice, a voice that none of you recognize, on the wind as the flames burn higher. And it says, "Those that hear us, safeguard this soul now free from strife. Wash them of their sins and see their soul set free. Set them on the distant shores of the undying spirit. Guide this one. Guide them to where the traveler never tires, the lover never leaves, the hungry never starve. Guide this one. And may they be a companion to you as they were to those that shall remember and remain." And the last of the embers goes out. Is there anything anybody wants to say? Or do?
So Xena, as tearful as she is, reaches up and holding the piece that she got of Kieran, and she reaches into the ash and uses her two fingers and puts ash on each cheek, and then takes ash and sprinkles it on the dream catcher like thing that she got, and just raises her hands and says, God be with you. God's be with you on your journey. We will miss you, my friend."
Smalls.
I was just getting ready to speak.
Oh,
Yes.
go for it. What do you got?
As I say, Smalls is gonna search out the master. Search out.
Looking for Manchu?
Yeah, Manchu. Sorry, I keep wanting to say Sifu. I don't know why.
It's Sifu. He goes by Sifu Manchu. Sifu is another name for master.
Okay, just making sure.
Or teacher.
So, Smalls is gonna search him out, and he's gonna approach Sifu Manchu. Although this time it will be far more calm and stoic.
Okay. He acknowledges you as you come forward, and he even actually gives you a polite bow, which is literally up to maybe your knee.
Smalls is going to nod his head back in a slight bow. And I'm going to look at him and ask, did he die well?
He died in battle, defending his people. I regret what happened, and I will make amends for it one day. You have my apologies, Master Smalls.
And you mine,
I lost my temper with you when I should not have.
as so did I. I saw the body of our comrade and instantly went on the defensive. For that, I apologize as well. Thank you for taking such good care of him.
You remind me of someone. An old friend of mine, long ago. A former master at this school, in fact. Your power, your being reminds me a great deal. I believe he was Giantkin, much like you. His name was Iroh. Many around here knew him as the Dragon of the North. He wielded the storm like nobody else could. Both his calm and his fury were something to behold. He was actually master of the tea ceremony, if you could believe it. Man was an enigma. Could be pouring you the most perfect cup of green tea one afternoon, and then by evening tearing apart entire armies with lightning bolts from the sky.
Sounds like someone I would like to meet.
Well, if you ever run across him, you let me know. It's been about 20 years since we last spoke. But
Might I ask if it was on good terms? I'd hate to bring up your name if it was not.
As good as terms as there could be. We were friends. But Iroh was always one to keep to himself. He had family issues, I know that. I not to get into his own business, but it's been a long time. He is missed greatly. But as I said, you remind me of him. Your style, your demeanor, everything. You would do well here, Master Smalls. If you ever want to learn something more than just swinging that axe of yours around, you would be welcome here.
I appreciate that.
It would be good to see another dragon of the North. The world could use another one like them.
Smalls very, very politely is taking in this information and processing it. Gives a slight, very respectful bow of the head, and then just turns back to the group.
Maddie.
Yes, sir.
James Baxter approaches you. He's no longer balancing on his ball. He just kind of calmly, quietly clops up to you and puts a hand on your shoulder. Doesn't say anything, just stands there.
I look back at him and softly tell him that I never got to apologize formally when we first met, and I'm very sorry for that.
Apology accepted. You're not the first hothead that I've met, especially coming out of the Trimarch. Nay. You will not be the last either.
You know, Chiron's actually the one that taught me patience. He calmed me down and asked me to be a true leader.
And are you? Calm. And a true leader? Sir Matty?
I look over at him and I tell him I'm just burning up inside right now. I feel like I want to kill someone.
Feel like you might already think that you did.
Maddie looks away and gets even angrier at that comment.
Did you kill your friend, Sir Matty?
I did. It was me.
Yes, it was you. And it also was not. So both yay and nay. I don't think your friend was the type to be, held at knife point and forced to come here, was he? You don't strike me as the type to hold someone at knife point and force them to do something, are you?
He came here because I asked him to come here. I said I needed his help.
Yes. And he came here. And he helped. He helped you all. And he died. But that's no more your fault than mine. Or your fairy friend. Or your giant friend. Or any of the rest of your group. We all make the decisions that lead us to where we ultimately end up, Sir Matty. You can sit here and blame yourself and pity yourself all you want. Your friend is still dead, and you all still have lives in front of you. Perhaps the question you should be asking yourself is, what are you going to do with the time that you have left? You going to wallow in self-pity? Or are you going to do better? And perhaps be that person that your friend wanted you to be.
I think Maddie definitely perks up a little bit hearing him talk like that and stands a little bit straighter, but still doesn't look at him.
I question the path that you're on, though, Sir Matty. I watched you fight. I've watched you move. You feel force. Doesn't feel like it's you. Perhaps you're trying too hard to be something you're not.
I don't want to lose anyone close to me.
Well, you have no more control over that than the people who will be lost, ultimately.
I
Fight.
don't want anyone to die.
Well, we're all going to die, Sir Matty. Sometimes we get to choose the manner in which we die. Sometimes we don't. More often than not, we don't. Especially in the line of work that you've chosen to follow. So, push forward, Sir Matty. Be the person that your friend wanted you to be, or don't. It's ultimately your decision. He's not exactly holding a knife to your throat and telling you to be that person. But perhaps try a little less rigid path. Don't be what everyone else has told you to be. It might do you some good.
Maddie looks at him and gives him a nod as a thank you.
This time you can choose whether or not you want to stay on the path that you are, or if you want to make the changes that we talked about. You may do that now. All right. Floor is open. Any conversations or anything else that anybody wants to do or say? Babe, I can hear you talking, but you're muted, so if you wanted to say something.
You can hear me because you're in the next room. I said, Xena.
Oh, Zena's talking. I thought I could hear Lindsay.
Oh,
So,
we sound
bad.
alike. So Xena is standing with Athena also and reaches up and puts two fingers in the ashes and strokes from the middle of her ears down to the tip of her nose with the ashes. And Athena just lays down next to Xena as she is sitting there. That was it.
Anybody else?
Smalls is now going to find Maddie.
Drum is gonna watch what Xena's doing and very cautiously walk up to her and just offer the advice: be careful what emotions you lay on the dead. They can't be weighed down forever. Then I'm gonna casually walk away.
Drum.
Yes.
Those it wasn't for me. Kieran was a warrior of his tribe, and from what I know of lore, it's an honor to carry their ashes, not heavily, but in remembrance of who they were. That doesn't last forever, but those are just remembrances and a mark saying, I remember you, and I will always remember you. And it's not about the dead. It's not about the dead. It's about the living and what he was in the living. No, there's nothing special behind it. Just knowing that we are all of earth, we are all of dust, and we will return there. And this is just a way to say, I see you, and I will carry your ashes in my heart and my mind, remembering who you were and what you did in life, not death. Because I can't see his death, but I can see his life, and those are just streaks of remembrance. So that's all that was. It's nothing, it's no vow. It's nothing to carry forward. It's just something for right now, in this moment. And Athena knows that too, because she knows my mind, and we talk a lot. So she carries him with her as well in memory, and not anything that is a covenant, a curse, a blessing, a blessing. He was a blessing. So that's how I'm going to take it. His blessing in life. So just so you know, that's all it is.
As long as you hold him as a blessing,
Yes.
there are many who would be weighed down by the death of others. I mean, I casually glance over to Maddie, but then keep my gaze as if it's shifting back. Yes, as long as you remember them as a blessing. The weight of our
Yes.
emotions have a huge impact in the world, and carrying heavy weights with us is never going to get us far.
Thank you. No, I see his ashes going up, or the smoke going up. And that's where he's going. And that's what I will always remember. So thank you, though. Thank you for coming and chatting, talking to me about that, because I don't understand a lot of that, but I do understand my beliefs as a druid and my beliefs as a fairy, and going forward, just to remember. Just remembering. That's all it is.
Keep in mind, Zena, you're a former druid now.
Oh, as a former druid. Wow. Wow. Even as I say that, Drum, I forget that I'm just drawing on what I know, because I'm actually nothing right now. I want to become something that will be significant. But right now I'm kind of in a lull. But those were what I did. That was what I did believe as a druid, and now I want to move forward and maybe even find out what Kieran was all about. Find out what a cleric is all about. I don't know. It's up in the air. But right now, I'm just remembering him. Here now. It's here now.
As you guys' conversation continues on. Smalls, what did you want to do with Maddie?
So Smalls is going to walk up to Maddie and just look at him for a moment, just remorseful. As a former leader of men, I know that it's easy to put blame on yourself. This is not one of those times you own that blame. Having been in similar shoes, I understand the need of anger, the need of remorse. Might I suggest we go find a drink?
That sounds great. I put my arm as close as I can around Smalls because he is gigantic and I am not. And to say before that, we need to take care of business. And I would like to use the thaumaturgy. Is that how you pronounce it?
You want to use that one? That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one you're going to take.
Yeah, I'd like to make my voice booming and loud and huge and say, oh shit, I didn't think this through. Let's make haste. We must still go to the Trimark Defense Corps and report this to them of Chiron's death.
Okay.
Just trying to get all of our team's attention, essentially.
Yeah, you definitely echo throughout the courtyard. They all heard you. Drum, I cut you off a little bit. Did you have anything else that you wanted to say or do? Anybody else that wanted to have anything they want to say or do?
I am actually going to go find Monroe real quick.
Okay.
You'll find Monroe with something with the thaumaturgy happen, just wincing in the ears.
Well,
over in like a corner somewhere. I don't know where. Just not really with them.
So I'm gonna go retrieve him. Be like, I think it's time for us to go.
You think? Damn.
I mean, we only had little hints.
A little. But I was looking at you earlier. You didn't really seem too bothered by this.
It's an inevitability. Unfortunately, it could be sad, but we've only known him for a little while. Hopefully, his next life is a lot more adventurous than this one. We can only do what we can for the dead, but we do always have to do what we always have to do what we need to for the living.
Well, we can certainly learn from the dead on who we can follow next. But, like your speech, by the way. I mean, I have never known you to have words in general. But that was pretty cool.
Hopefully, it was a good send off. Yeah, putting too much out in the world changes things. I like to observe.
And I like how you came and found me. That's pretty nice of you.
Well, you kind of vanished on us, so it's probably best that we all head back. This is going to be not the simplest thing to explain to the others.
Cool. And I'll just move along. I'm not even going to wait to follow you. I'm just going to start walking.
I'm going to casually follow behind, like, in no hurry.
And I briefly smirk a bit that I'm glad that someone's actually following me a bit.
All right. With that, everybody makes your way. You gather your belongings, say your goodbyes to a few people, nod, bows are exchanged, and everybody makes their way out of the dojo as the doors gently this time close behind you and your group, now one less. Maddie mentioned he needs to make his way over to the Trimark Basilica, home of the Trimark Defense Corps, the home of all the mercenaries where you all had your orientation, you all met to report on the death of Chiron. It did not take place during a mission. and it took place outside of any grounds where anything could be reported. So you, as your team, it is your responsibility to report his falling. But we're going to shift over to Drew. Drew, you're back at the manor. All the events that have taken place over the last couple of hours with you, you've gotten there. You exchanged some quote-unquote pleasantries. The mystery and the chaos of everything that's happening around you. You drank some rather delicious coffee up until it basically, almost killed you, or however you choose to look at that. But now here you are, standing up, your head pounding from having the eye snatched from your head. But at the same time, everything you're feeling, it's pain, but it's pain that is most welcome because you have not felt this much like yourself in as long as you can remember. Not since all those years ago when you woke up out there in the middle of the woods and spent all those years on your own. But Slevin returns to his seat on the other side of the table, puts his feet up, puts his little fingers together, just the tips, cocks his head down, looks at you with his little sunken, beady eyes, and once again asks you, "Do we have a deal?" And you responded, "No." No. Well,
No.
pray tell, Master Iddick.
So I'm gonna stand up and like brush myself off and cast Cure Wounds and kind of wipe his blood off of my mouth. And then Drew is gonna sit at the table. He's gonna take the poisoned cup of coffee. And he's gonna stick his feet up just like Slevin is. And he's gonna look at him and say, "No, I won't work with you. Or I won't work for you. Sorry. God damn it. Hold on. Let's rewind that." Drew's gonna kick his feet up, look at him, and go, "No, I won't work for you. But I'm willing to work with you."
Keep in mind his nose that you bit off is still like he has this gaping maw in the center of his face that is just, it's no longer like protruding blood, but it is definitely wide open, and he's kind of like learning to breathe through it. So you have this like kind of like halfway giggle and halfway like gasping snort coming through his nose as you say that. I color me intrigued.
While this, he's gonna like motion to himself and the pile of blood on the ground. While this works for me, that was a fucking rude way to enter a business partnership, don't you think?
Yes, but it was fun.
Could have been funner.
Oh my. I had a feeling about you, Master Iddick, and I think my feelings were well placed. So are you proposing a partnership?
Yeah, we each got something we need.
Mm. He kind of like cocks his head left and right. It's almost like a dog that's like hearing like a dog whistle. It's kind of like trying to figure something out. It's almost like he's looking at you, but almost like through you, perhaps into you. Very well. Only because I'm intrigued. He kind of like wipes this like weird snottiness that's running out of his now like gaping open nose and like flicks it across the table. A servant immediately comes over and starts wiping it up and cleaning it up.
Gross.
But I'm afraid you'll have to shake on it. And he like reaches out this like little bony fingery hand with these long protruding black nails. If we're going to be partners, we should be able to shake on our deals, shouldn't we?
God, you're weird. I don't. Fine. Drew's gonna extend a hand.
You get up and walk across the table and shake his hand?
Well, how far away is he?
It's a pretty long dining table, about
Okay.
50 feet long. Yeah.
Ugh, fine. Making me move. What a creep.
As you take his hand, he begins like your hand is about like like 3 sizes of his fingers. Just like you're kind of like shaking 3. Yeah, he's basically shaking 3 of your fingers as he
Mhm.
returns to it. But he immediately looks at you and says, "We have a deal." And then as soon as you say that, you feel this burning, just this clawing, burning sensation at the back of your neck as you go to like turn. Except he has your hand in this death-like grip. You have no idea where all of a sudden the strength came from, but he is not letting you go. As almost you feel this like this burning, this tearing at the back of your neck. As you put your fingers up and feel it, you could feel a brand etching into the backside of your neck, underneath your hairline. As you all of a sudden the pain is so immense. You're not taking any damage, but it is so immense that it almost brings you down to a knee, and it drops you down to just below his level. And he's looking at you as he comes close to face, almost as close as he was when he was grasping your face earlier. He says, "I can't wait to see the wonderful things we do together, Master Riddick." This little gap tooth missing and like your receding blackened gum lines and everything as he looks at you and smiles. "I'll be in touch. I just have to get my house in order first. It's been a long time." And he lets go of your hand. And immediately the pain in the back of your neck subsides, and you can feel it as you're kind of tracing your fingers over it. It's on the back left side of your neck. It's a something. It's like a design. You can't quite. Obviously, you would need a mirror or something to take a look, but something has been etched into the back of your neck. And then you realize those last few things that he said to you, they weren't spoken out loud. They were spoken in your head.
Oh
Whatever
no!
whatever he has done to you has allowed you to him to speak to you, and you have no choice but to listen. Floor is yours.
Okay. He's still standing in front of me.
No, he's sitting down. He's in his chair.
Okay, he's sitting down. Drew's gonna reach out and knock his chair to the floor.
Make me a strength saving or a strength check. DC 10. It's a big chair, and he's not a big person.
That's a 7.
7. As you go to like knock it back, he puts his hand on the edge of the table, and that death-like grip returns to it, and he catches himself. And he's still smiling at you. He's not saying anything. Hasn't broken eye contact with you in the slightest. But he's just looking at you.
Drew's gonna like growl at him.
Okay.
You fucking creep. Did you just brand me?
Maybe. He kind of like he lets go of the table and puts his fingers back together and is like dancing them back and forth, fingertip to fingertip. "I can't have my partner traipsing all about the country with no means of contact, now can I?" "You made a deal, offered a deal, I accepted. It's not my fault you didn't read the fine print."
What do you want? I mean, you killed me to use my body. That's fine. You could have gone about it a little better.
Oh, you make it
'Cause what
sound
the
so.
fuck do you want with me?
Oh, you make it sound so perverted. Didn't want to use your body. I want you to. I want you to know yourself. I want you to remember yourself. Like I said, I have so much to tell you, but it's a little foggy right now. It's like right on the tip of my tongue, as I said. There's that sensation of deja vu. Like I've seen you somewhere before. We've spoken somewhere before. I just can't quite place it. Give me some time. Work for me. Do a few jobs. Get a little money. That's what you do in your line of work, right? You like money. And I promise you, you'll have your answers in due time. Tell you what, let me get my house in order, and I'll send you a message. There's somebody that I would like you to reach out to for me. I don't even know if they're alive or dead. It's been so long, but we'll find out together. And if you find that out for me, then I'll tell you about your cauldron.
Drew's gonna take a big, like, deep breath and try to stop the smile that's coming on his face. And he's gonna look him dead in the eye, not camouflaging his smile very well.
Mm.
What happens to you if I kill this body?
What happens to me if you kill this
Slevin's body, not Drew's body.
Oh, as I said. I mean, I die. Whatever else would you mean? What happens to me?
Ah. Drew's gonna stand up and, like, pace back and forth. His
so
fist
fru-
clenched. He wants to hit him so bad.
You're so frustrated, Master Edic. Here, have a crumpet. And he kind of like motions to the center of the table where there's a bunch of pastries and all the other things that he offered you earlier. Have something to eat. You look deathly pale.
Not hungry.
And then he claps his hands. Bam, bam! And again, it's that same strength that you just like you didn't realize earlier as these hands come together. It echoes throughout the entire. You would assume throughout the entire manor. As all these certain suddenly stop in unison, and you can just feel a collective turning of all their feet into the exact direction in which Slevin is sitting. Please see our guest out. We'll talk again soon, Drew. Byzies. And he does this little like this little like finger wave thing as he beckons you out.
God, what a creep. I want to ask the servants if there's someplace that I can, like, clean up before I head out.
They begin like they don't really respond to you in a way when you ask, but they begin beckoning you out into the main hallway. And one of them brings over like a bowl of like water and whatnot, and they put it in front of this armoire with a large mirror that's sitting out in this hallway, the one of the main hallways that leads you out to the main foyer, which you could leave from. But they beckon you over to that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna clean off his blood as much as I can.
Absolutely. They give you a couple of rags. They're not really responding to you, and then they kind of immediately go back to doing what they're doing. But there is a large mirror in front of you and a bucket of water as you begin to kind of like peeling off this like it's almost like coagulated dried blood that it seems like it's way too dry for what literally just happened. But you're flaking all of it off and having to scrub in a few places. Your skin is it, it feels the same, but at the same time that natural redness that would come from you scratching at your neck or scrubbing real hard, that pinkish hue, it's not there. But the mirror's in front of you. Do you take a look?
I do.
It's still you. Your long hair, your skin. You are looking a little pale, but I mean, no more than you would expect for somebody who just lost a decent amount of blood and vomited up a great deal of whatever they had in their stomach, and on top of some. But you definitely take note of the eye that has been ripped out of your skull, except there's not an eye missing from your skull. No. There's just a different eye than you remember. It is the deepest, almost ethereal shade of blue. But it has something of a the lens itself, the cornea has like a strange crack to it, almost like a marble that's been split inside. But it does have a very distinct blue hue to it.
Is it the same as Monroe's chest?
No,
Okay. It's not the same blue?
no, different shade altogether. As you kind of take a look and you kind of like pulling down your eyelid a little bit, taking a look at your newest addition to your body, and then you remember and you pull your hair back and you look at the brand on the back of your neck, and it is very much so a brand. In fact, it's still hot to the touch as you put your fingers to it. And I'll send you a photo of what that looks like here soon. Anything else you want to do?
No, although has the black traveled up any further, or is it still just past my elbow?
This point is still just past your elbow.
Okay.
Doesn't appear to have moved at all right now. Anything else you want to do or say?
Nope.
As you go to like pick yourself up and like you finish cleaning yourself off, wipe your hands off, and you drop this bloody, nasty rag into this pool of just viscous black liquid now of this dirty water, you get that same little tingle in the back of your head. That same little sensation that you felt, I don't know, was it weeks ago? Days ago now? No, this is different. This isn't like, this isn't Slevin reaching out. If he wanted to talk to you now, he could just do it. You have no choice. But there's something reaching out, and you can feel it in the back of your head. Something is wanting to say something.
I'll let it.
Do you let it?
Yep. This hasn't gone wrong the past few times it's happened.
Oh, no.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
The voice speaks.
So, I assume this is me, yes? Verifying brain.
Yes, it's you.
Hello there, dear. Would you fancy a bit of reprise? I would love to leave this place.
Okay, God, okay. Where are you? Or what are you?
As for the moment, I'm currently confined to a cube.
Drew, as you look around, all of a sudden, like you realize that this armoire, like as much as these servants are running around, darting around, cleaning this place up, it's only been a matter of a few hours. This place is massive. They haven't gotten to everything yet. And on the same armoire that you are standing at now, underneath a pile of like the rags and everything that you threw, there is this strange, almost Rubik-sized cube sitting right here underneath a pile of the rags and papers and this mound of dust and cobwebs that they haven't quite gotten to yet. But this strange, runely etched cube that has dozens of little lines vivisecting through it. It almost seems like you could turn it and twist it and differently shape it around. But the voice seems to be emanating from this.
I'll pick it up.
Ah, yes, why yes, my dear. This is a good beginning. Now, can we please get out of here?
Yeah.
I'd rather no longer be here.
God, me too.
Do you
So
take
do
it
you
with?
know?
Oh,
Yeah,
go
I'm
ahead.
gonna. I have one more question. Do you know Slevin?
On a manner of
voice-
speaking, my dear. It has been a very long time since I may have interacted with him last, but that was so long ago I cannot remember if it was him or not. Names do
Good.
get
That guy's
muddled
a
over the
fucking
years.
dick. All right, I'll leave.
Do you try to like? Do you just pick up the cube and take it, or do you try to like sneakily pocket it?
No, I just take it.
You just take it.
I just take it. I
As
just got killed and branded in there.
Immediately, all of the servants like turn their head. And they're all looking at you, and they all kind of like start moving your direction.
Hmm. Hey, whoa, calm down. Boss man said it was okay.
Might I just suggest fleeing, sir?
Yeah, I'll start. Is what they're gnomes? How fast can they run? I'm just gonna run.
You
They got
run
little
and
legs.
you just hear an echoing amount of laughter coming from the room that you just left. But all of the servants immediately kind of part ways and just get out of your way as you start running out the hallway and into the main
Hate that
foyer
guy.
and out the double doors. You're back in the courtyard of this ruined manor. The manor behind you is still elegantly appointed. It looks magnificent. Looks like it's never been touched a day, and it's it is a far cry from the ruin that you were at just less than 12 hours ago here. But you're just definitely standing in the dead, decaying remains of the grounds here as you make your way towards the double gates. You just want to get out of here?
Yeah.
You make your way through the double gates and out into the main walkways and back into the neighborhood from which you came through. You're trying to remember, as I said, you were a Pine Martin when you came through here, so you're trying to remember your ways back. You're severely you're dehydrated. You realize that you are a little bit hungry. It's like all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I haven't eaten anything today. I haven't had anything to drink other than coffee that probably killed me. I'm not quite sure what happened back there, but you're making your way through, and all of a sudden you hear another voice in your head. This one's not asking permission either, but it just says, "Hey, kid," as it whispers.
What?
You kind of like, do you look around to where the voice is coming from?
Yeah.
Off to the side here, the street that you're making your way down, there's a very nice little like open air barista cafe type thing going on. There's like little delicately painted white tables and chairs, little umbrellas and everything like that. There's very well dressed individuals and very fancy folk having tea and little cakes and whatnot and these ridiculously get up clothes. But as you make your way to trying to find the source of that voice, there's a very well dressed gentleman, but it's not like he's wearing a suit. It's almost like it's a strangely decadent black jumpsuit almost, with this white collar that comes through the center of the chest and kind of pops up towards his neck. He has very slick, clean black, slick back, clean cut black hair, very square jaw, cleanly shaven. You do notice, though, that he has the most magnificent set of blue eyes that you have ever seen. And he just kind of waving to you, beckoning you over.
Yeah, I'll go sit down.
He also like kind of like snaps his fingers, and like some other people come over, and like they're definitely keeping their distance from you. And all of the people that were like kind of like enjoying their meals and their teas and their treats and everything, like definitely scoot away as you come and like sit down with this gentleman. But a serving person comes over and drops a cup of like it's another cup of coffee in front of you, as well as some cakes and whatnot, and just immediately shuffles away as quickly as he possibly can. The blue-eyed gentleman's just looking at you.
I am going to inspect this coffee extremely thoroughly.
Roll me a medicine check with advantage or a perception check
Okay.
with advantage.
It's a 17.
17. It's definitely just coffee this time.
Okay.
I will drop a vision of what this guy looks like in the chat.
Are his eyes the same shade of blue as my new one?
No, these are more. I guess you could say like yours is like a milky shade of blue. It's almost like it's blue like a sapphire in the way that it's like a sapphire under the bluest of oceans. It's strange to
Okay.
explain. It has like a strange cloud to it as well, almost like a blue coral like to it. Well, not coral, sorry, that's
Okay.
different. But his eyes are very ethereal blue. They are shining like little bitty like little bitty flashlights in his head. He's not saying anything to you. He's just looking at you.
Sir, I've had a weird day. So why did you call me over?
Curiosity.
What's there to be so curious about?
I've been trying to get into that house for years. Longer than years. All of a sudden, some guards report that they take a group of mercs after they visit one of the most prestigious and wealthiest men in this neighborhood and escort them to one of the most derelict and rotting places in this neighborhood. And yet there you are twice in a row. What's your name?
Um, the name I'm using now is Druidic.
The name you're using now. Is that the name you'll be using tomorrow?
Yes.
As I said, I've been trying to get in that house for a very, very long time, Mr. Drew. How'd you
Why?
manage it?
That's a long story, my friend.
Oh, I got time.
How do I know I can trust you?
You don't.
God, that is an annoying answer.
Mm.
Why do you need in that house?
Don't need. I just what said I want in that house.
Okay, then what do you want in that house?
That's my business. I just want to know how you managed it.
Well, that seems like my business. I had a
Life's
personal invite from the master of the house.
you kind of like you say that he gives you this weird like his eyebrow kind of goes up on one side. He's giving you that kind of weird cockeyed look, like the master of the house invited you. That house
Yeah,
has been dormant for what? How much do you know about that place?
a lot less than I'd like.
Make it a habit of going into places you know absolutely nothing about.
I don't mean to. There's just a lot I don't know nothing about.
It's a very cavalier way to live, Mr. Drew.
What's the worst that can happen?
Kind of looks you over a little bit. Gives you this like kind of like eyebrow look, like you tell me. Look, life's funny that way sometimes. I appreciate your time, Mr. Riddick. I'm sure we'll be speaking again sometime. Just do yourself a favor and be careful out there.
I'll do my best. Wait, why don't you just knock on the door? It's a house. There's a door. You can knock on it. That's how most people get into places.
Only
I
we're so
knocked.
for we're only so simple, Mr. Riddick. By the way, as you are you getting up to leave at this time?
Yeah.
As you're getting up to leave, his eyes immediately look at you. He says, "By the way, you did a good thing. If you're questioning it right now or not." And his eyes immediately go to the pocket for just a half second, which you pocketed the cube. And then he goes back and starts writing on some papers. He's paying no more attention to you.
Well, thank you for this weird cap of this weird fucking day, handsome stranger. God, shit. And I'm gonna just drink the rest of the coffee and leave.
You pocket the cakes and everything like as much as
Yeah.
you can possibly.
Yeah.
You get as soon as that coffee hits your lips and it's like you start biting into the coffee and then the cakes and everything, you realize like yes, you are starving. You cannot remember the last time that you ate. It feels like you haven't eaten in days. But yes, you very much so have an appetite. All right.
All right.
We're at 7:40. I'm going to go ahead and call the first break. Let's take a 10-minute break.
Word.
Good
Sounds,
stuff.
sounds awesome. I need to grab my second drink after that.
Got a little clunky there, but
Oh god, yeah. We'll be okay.
Drew's meeting so many people. Will we know any of this? Probably not.
No.
All of the truth.
Just anything.
Technically, one of you's already met this guy.
Dun dun dun.
Drew did. Drew is meeting everybody.
This is the first
description
time. This is the first time Drew's ever met this guy.
The description is blue eyes, skull and
Blue
Like,
eyes, blue eyes,
Flashlight blue eyes is the best description I've heard.
crazy blue eyes, slick black, grayish black hair, and a very, very well-appointed black-looking suit. It's not a suit. It's more. It's like one piece, so to speak, but it looks like a suit from a distance.
I'm Batman. Is all I can think of.
Bruce Wayne does have blue eyes.
God.
It's true.
But I just picture like the cartoony, like when you have flashlight eyes and it's just beams of light. I'm like, oh my goodness.
I'll be back in 10 minutes. Well, let's meet back here at 7:51 my time. So I'll give it a minute.
Perfect.
Well, who the hell else met him?
That's me.
Okay.
Really?
When was that?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to find out. It is gonna
I
be
guess
roll-
so.
have to
I'm
roll
like,
it out.
what?
I remember.
I swear I'm my character sometimes.
It's okay. Sometimes
and
I
John
am
have
none of my
personalities.
characters. I remember random pieces of information that have no real relevance.
All these finer details of other things when it relates to you, you're like,
Yep. I can look at everyone else's fabric, not my own.
It's like,
You just remember the DM telling Drum, "Oh, on a 4 you saw a cat and missed everything." Don't actually remember the event. Remember the cat.
Yep.
yes. Wow. It had blue and orange and gray.
Correct. I have drum perception sometimes.
My rolls have been garbage today. We haven't done very many, but I've been rolling for people and they've just been garbage, and I'm sad.
You're just,
Yeah.
There's no insight to anybody right
Just know that Morn wants to kill me for some reason. Pretty excited to see how that works out.
I never said anything. You just
What
need
you
to
say,
take
what you
my
The way you
think.
looked
like
at me.
anything.
You didn't have to say a thing. He saw it on your face.
That's his insight. Okay, that's what he thinks. Yeah,
It
think
was
whatever he wants.
17. I know it's true.
I'm curious how many of
Fine,
y'all
I'll
thought I was
kill him.
actually going to try to fight the master.
Oh, I absolutely thought you were gonna punch 100%. I would have
Right?
bet on that if you let me.
Absolutely.
To be fair, if you did
Admittedly,
that,
I wanted to throw the punch. Had he not had all that remorse going, if there was a hint of smugness about killing somebody, yeah, it was on.
okay, I probably would have joined you in the fight thinking it's a just cause, so we'd have died together.
So we would have had a session of character building?
Probably. Drum, did you just... Sorry, I was getting some ice. Did you say you would have joined me?
Oh, I would have definitely joined you. I was like
Sweet.
I was being very quiet in the background, but I was like 2 seconds from joining you, because barbarians, they have to kind of
Yeah, we
think
got to
similar-
stick together.
they think similarly
Absolutely.
for a couple of things. So this was one of them.
Yep. Oh, man, I was so ready to fight. Oh, I was hoping he was going to be just the slightest bit glib about, yeah, I killed your friend. You got a problem with it?
I think I want more gin, but I'm running out of it.
I just poured myself rum.
Actually, sad.
Going from-
This gin is really good.
Going from a
What
THC
kind of
drink
gin?
to rum.
So it's something I picked up from a gift shop in England.
Okay.
They sold like luxury chocolates. Hotel Chocolat, what
Okay.
it's called, but it is a cherry raspberry gin.
You sound so fancy by saying it's something I picked up over there. over.
So it was really weird because I was like, huh, I wonder what these taste like. And they were just like, oh, do you want samples? And I'm like, you just sample liquor here? And they're like, yeah. And I got like to sample all the liquors they had.
Awesome.
I was completely thrown off guard. There was no waivers or anything. They were just like, oh, yeah, here, try what we have to drink.
I'm excited to try the
That's
meads in July when you tell us which ones are your favorites.
Yeah, I've got like 2 clear favorites, but I still have a few more to try. So I think they'll be solid. There's some good ones, but that maple one was it's gonna be the
That
first one I
makes me
write about.
so sad. Maple's one of like my favorite
I had
flavors.
such high hopes for it, but it's the consistency, not the flavor. Like it is
Oh.
thicker than most drinks. So you're just like,
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like a viscous liquid.
Yeah.
Nothing gooey, nothing slimy, no thank you.
Yeah, it's like borderline slimy. Like, like
No.
yeah, it's not the flavor of it. It's entirely the texture, and I can't get
Did
over the
you cut
texture
it with
enough.
like a sparkling water?
So I'm gonna try a couple of different things to try and get it drinkable. Sparkling water might not be a bad idea. I was gonna heat it up to see if like it goes better as like a warm mead. But I figured that will thin it out a little bit, but it's just unpleasant to drink.
That's too bad. I tried a plum wine that was like that. I was expecting a regular plum wine. No, it was like thick. It was awful. It was like half set jello.
That sounds terrible.
It was so bad. Oh, I should probably get water.
I hope Drum doesn't die for at least 2 more levels, guys.
But did you say 2 levels? That's not enough. Drum can't die.
No, Drum can die after 2 levels because I feel like by that point I will have expanded on stuff that Drum knows. But I can't. I don't know. It's very hard to like interject with what Drum knows in just casual conversation.
Drum was the next person I did not see dying. Like Chiron was number 1 and Drum's number 2, so you might want to watch out, man.
I'm pretty convinced Marshall has gone after me pretty harshly in some of these fights.
Yeah, there's myself, Smalls. Like, yeah, we can very much die pretty easily. Drum, nah, everyone loves Drum. Chiron, everyone loves Chiron. So I'm sorry, man.
Well, if he dies, I guess outside of world building, I will tell you all I know about Drum.
Yeah, you can do your own eulogy if you want, because that was perfect.
That was so good. I did cry a little bit.
Guys, I was so proud of that. Like, I wrote that and I was like, oh, this is a perfect send off. Like, I was just going to post it, but Marshall was like, does anyone want to do anything? And then he gave me like 3 more opportunities. I'm like, okay, fine.
It was good.
Say
I'm gonna
parting
go
words.
get some water.
I believe we can collectively acquire everyone's tears from in front of them and make a cup of water.
Very salty water. But just so people know, no, I'm not looking at Maddie to kill him. Why do you all assume that I'm here to kill every one of you?
Whoever Wales' new character is, though, I might just really hate because they're replacing Chiron. So just a FYI, just might really hate.
Nice.
It's fine. I have a way to butter you up. Don't worry.
Ooh.
Is it literal butter? I can't wait for literal butter.
You'll have to wait and see, my dear.
Oh, I know. I love this. I love this Carney type. It's like I'm sorry. It's like it's right.
So
I'll be honest, I
should
definitely
notice the reference, by the way, Lindsay. You of all people. You should.
Me?
Yes, you.
What?
My dear, if you haven't
Doug-
even noticed, you must be blind.
She'll get it more as you get an opportunity.
yeah.
You'll speak more.
Mm-hmm.
I will be honest. I was messaging Allie behind the scenes saying, "Leave the queue, force him to create a third character."
Shit.
No, for once in your life, don't have an impulse and just leave him behind.
You say that as if I didn't have a backup plan if she didn't take the cue.
That's fair. That's fair. But I was like, there was two ways Drew could have been played. if-
Make Drew get out of
Drew-
character and not have an impulse. I'm like, wow, I gotta learn what impulse control is for once.
Just after everything Drew endured, just be like, you know what? Nope, and just walk
Just
out.
metagame the crap out of it. Wow, I feel like I should have impulse control.
All right.
Eyeball yanked out
No,
the head.
impulse control's overrated.
Yep. As we're learning with
That's what I
many,
love
many of
about
these
Drew.
characters.
I'm like, I wish I was Drew. Just like, yeah, do it. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, try
All
me,
right.
bitch.
I think we're all back. Alex, Monica, are you here?
If you are muted.
Yes. Smalls, are you here?
Yes, we are here.
Mark, are you here?
Meh.
Meh. Alex, did you get my message? Check your Discord. All right. We're going to get back into it. We're going to actually shift back over to the rest of the gang, leaving the Mojo Dojo. So Maddie had mentioned that you need to head over to the Trimark Basilica, which is located at the center of the city, to report on the death of Chiron, since it did not happen during a mission. So I'm going to turn the floor over to you. Is there any conversations that you all want to have? Is everybody going there? What do you want to do?
So Xena is going to ask Maddie, where did you say you had to go? Where are we going?
We have to go back to where we did orientation because died outside of the missions. We have to report it.
Need assistance, or can we go with you? What do you need? We're here for you.
We bring all of his belongings, and I'd rather if we could report together since we're kind of.
Okay. I'm here. I'm going. Athena and I are with you.
Thank you, Xena. Smalls, are you with us?
Smalls just gives a slight nod, yes.
I tried. I texted Chloe, asked if she can call.
Guys, if you're going to have conversations outside the game, please mute yourselves.
Sorry, I forgot we weren't.
You're good.
Whoops.
Monroe, Drum, are you coming?
We got some other business to take care of there, but I'll join you for now.
Thank you. Monroe, will you join us?
I look to Xena and Drum and see that they're already moving, so I'm just looking at them.
Coming?
You get a
Alright.
nice cold shoulder.
Oh, it burns. It's so cold. I don't respond though. I just walk with the team so we can go there.
Okay. It's at the center of the city, so you guys could take either a couple of hours to walk there, or you could take the trolley again. It would be a single gold to get you there in about less than an hour.
Want to take the trolley?
I do.
Okay, I do too. I'm kind of beat.
All right, everybody, go ahead and subtract a single gold from your inventory. You all make your way into the trolley. You guys make your way through the neighborhood. You remember the way that you came through here. Make your way back to the trolley, and it immediately takes you to the next station which you're trying to get to. You get off, and you make your way to the center of the city here. There's the home of the major churches here. There's a lot of major establishments and buildings that you all haven't explored just yet, but the one that you all do remember is the Trimark Basilica. It's a small fortress that houses the Trimark Defense Corps, Guildhall. It's the central bureaucracy for all the mercenary companies. Company formations and promotions are all officiated here. You all make your way to that similar exterior that you were here weeks ago where you all first met. There's 4 different lanes that lead into the center fortress at the center of this thing. It's a multi-tiered fortress of indigo stone and this opus dei blackened steel. It has these massive visages of many races adorned in gold fleck and bronze moldings. There are small battlements that run along the upper levels, and what appears to be that what actually, if Morp was here, what he would recognize as cannons lining along the top. Not the most common of sights, but they are proudly protruding outward, and they're not aimed as if they're like they're mostly aimed down at the walkways. It's as if they're designed to keep some, if this fortress was ever sieged, that those cannons would be aimed downward to destroy the walkways in order to basically isolate this fortress. You all make your way through. There's the rumbling crowds, and there's the peddlers, and there's the screaming of the priests and everything like that along the way. The same thing. Nothing's changed in the weeks that you've been away. All the same people, all the same noises, all the same sensations. Inside, you get inside, it's a bustling display of bureaucracy and material flexing. It's lacking what one would call like military discipline, but there's various racers and warriors of all past litter the standing way. They're all standing in line, waiting and processing, crowding from one various job posting board to the other and all around the perimeter of the interior. At the center, there's a large square appointment of desks and important looking individuals roaming through paperwork, directing individuals through the chaos as best as they can. Well, you're all inside.
I want to walk up and try and figure out where I'm supposed to report something like this since it's our first time being back.
Cool. Is anybody anybody who is proficient in either perception or history? Give me a check. Give me a roll right now.
In history or what?
History or perception.
13 for history because I am proficient.
Okay. Anybody
I
else?
just have a 4 in perception.
19 perception.
Nice. Anybody else?
18.
That was a 10, don't worry.
Smalls, on your 19 perception, you actually recognize somebody. It's Letty, or Letiquashante for short. She is the I forget exactly what race she is. She's one of the she's a hippo person, essentially. She is broad-shouldered, humorless. She resembles more of a bouncer than a receptionist. She has this look on her face like she's seen it all, done it all before, she's heard it all before. Nothing around her impresses her. She's very by the numbers, by the book, directing people, stamping pages, escorting, telling people to move on. If you all remember, the first time you came in here, there was a group of individuals, a group of lizard folk that were in here, mercenaries that were making noise and ruckus and didn't want to stand in line. She actually came out from behind her desk and beat one almost to death before returning to work as calmly as possible and then continuing about her day. But you recognize her in her line.
Alrighty then. That was a descriptive way of talking about her. Smalls will walk over to Letty and just boldly, just straight out ask, "We had someone die. Where do we go?"
She kind of like looks at you coyly, is like almost like she's annoyed. Company name?
Smalls is just going to look around. I'm confused at this point.
Maddie will come up next to him. We haven't determined a name yet.
Oh. You all. She looks up and immediately recognizes the large group. Yeah, I remember you came through orientation a few weeks ago. You headed north, I think.
That's us.
You're reporting a death, I assume? Is that what he said?
Yes. Out of mission.
Name of the deceased?
Kyron.
Just a second. She kind of like pulls back from her desk and goes to a it's almost like a filing cabinet, but she pulls it out. It's almost like siphoning through a set of Rolodex, and she's siphoning through a bunch of these, and she immediately pulls this card and she pulls it out. And, Kyron, Centaur, cleric, right?
Yeah, that's
correct.
Manner of death?
Training.
Training.
Manner or Specifically, what are you looking for?
How he died, little one.
Oh, sorry. Stabbed. Training.
Keyword.
All right, that's fine. All right, stabbed and okay. Really? Stabbed in training?
We were at the Mojo Dojo.
It was kind of like a skewer.
Y'all are the same group that we got reports about taking out a harpy hag, right?
That's
Rescuing
correct.
somebody.
You heard
Yes.
about that?
Yeah, we got word from somebody. God, hang on a second. Somebody in the Freeman Legion reported it that they tagged along with an unnamed group out of somebody named Flynn. The
That
Freeman
was
Legion.
us.
Oh, Flynn's good people. I know that guy.
I love Flynn.
And Arrow.
Right. And
Is
you're
it
also.
Flynn as well?
This is also the same group that we're hearing about assisting. I got word not too long ago, just like literally yesterday, about a group that assisted Gunhild up in the den.
Yes,
Some
that's us.
You heard about that?
yeah, some fight took out, bunch of bugs, killed some villagers. I mean, there's obviously some conflicting reports from Majordomo Logain, because, he loves to take all the credit for himself, but I have Gunhild telling me that there was a group out of here that assisted her.
Yes, Mom. If you look at my armor, it's an oncake, half plate from one of the beetles.
That's disgusting. I don't care. Okay. All right. I'm just a little confused how all of a sudden your party member dies in training after
It was
you.
a terrible accident. A terrible accident. And it was terrible. But we have to report it, and that's why we're here.
Okay. All right. Look. She looks around and kind of like leans in quietly. Gunhild's a friend of mine, okay? You did good by helping her out. She's our local representative there at the den. She's the representative for both the Trimark Defense Corps and the Trimark Trade Union. So you did good. She's a friend of mine. Just thanks. Yeah, there's special mention here of someone named Kyron. There's some reports here from villagers that he Anyways, so yeah, passed. Anyways, okay, dead. She starts rifling through a few more cards. I assume that you would like to notify the next of kin?
Can we do that in person, or do you guys handle that for us?
Well, obviously we can handle it for you, but if you would like to notify the next of kin yourselves, you're absolutely welcome to. Would you like the information to?
I'll notify them and step forward.
There's a mention of here of a niece down in Sylvaden. Hippie is her name.
What's her name?
Hippie.
Hippie.
Hippe. Hippie.
I would love to go with you to do that. Yes, we would love to do that. Notify her.
Okay. Well, that's all I really have here. Obviously, your friend didn't leave too much detailed information. None of you really did, by the way. This is why we encourage the paperwork. So when you inevitably fucking die, we can tell your friends and family that you're dead. But that's neither here nor there. Okay. So you're hereby accepting personal responsibility to notify the next of kin of the death of one known as Kyron. You will take that responsibility. The Trimark Defense Corp thereby relinquishes all responsibility for notifying next of kin. You hereby accept this responsibility.
Yes.
We do.
Okay. 2 yays, and I really don't give a shit about the rest of you. Cool. All right. That's really all I have to go off of, so best of luck.
Well, I got you. Since you heard about all those things that we did, didn't at orientation you said if our reputation was going up that we might get some perks or from some benefits as a group?
All this, and you still haven't even established yourself with a name yet, huh?
Fuck.
You might want to start thinking about that.
We're
Look,
the
I don't
no
care.
names.
Obviously, we don't
That's
need a
it.
name. Our
No
reputation
name.
precedes us.
No name mercenaries. That's
You know,
us.
you know what? Out of all of you, I actually like the big man the best. He actually speaks with no bullshit. So it's kind of nice. Yes, your reputation does precede you a little bit. You're doing good work out there, and the guild takes care of its own, especially those that do good work. Now, you're under no obligation to go out there and be fucking saints and heroes. It's about profit. Keep that in mind. But yes, your reputation does precede you. Just a second. And she like snaps her fingers and kind of makes a hand motion to a couple of people that are standing off to the side. They seem to be like almost like you would imagine like a paralegal would be in this situation. There's somebody with like stacking books and working papers. They're there to assist. And one of them runs off and a couple minutes later returns, and one of them has a bag and a very intricately carved red stone. And she hands it over to the desk. Doesn't hand it to anybody in particular, but okay, who wants them?
Xena reaches for the stone.
Okay. Hands you the stone. She just kind of flops the satchel on the desk. Document C satchel and a sending stone.
Yes.
Document C satchel. As
I'll
you
go
Okay.
ahead and
I'll grab the sending stone.
Oh, I thought I grabbed it.
I think
Isn't that the stone?
Xena beat you to it.
What's the other thing? The satchel?
It's called a documency satchel. I'll put
Yeah,
this
I'll
stuff.
grab that.
I'll put this in the loot chat later. But what above the table, what you guys have just received here is an item called literally a documency satchel and a sending stone. Sending stone as in singular, not plural.
Yes.
Now I'm going to pull this up and I'll read the description to you what this exactly does. Because this is specific for your guys' group. Inventory. The documency satchel. You guys have achieved what is called rank 1, okay, with your reputations. You are, I believe you're recognized right now, okay? You're actually pretty close to already another reputation gain. What you guys have achieved in Opus Day was no small feat by any means, okay? You guys have already established yourselves doing a couple things that most mercenary companies have. It could even take them years to achieve, to do something like that. But the documency satchel as it stands right now doesn't really do anything for you other than act as a bag. It's magical, but it sense you feel like you can't quite use it all the way yet. But once you reach reputation rank 2, your documency satchel becomes a magical item, allowing you to magically send and receive documents to and from the head office through a special pouch. The satchel will literally allow you to take jobs and wanted posters and things like that directly from here at the Basilica rather than having to go to job boards. So they can literally send you documentation back and forth as you need it as you grow in reputation. You can all look it up in the items in the app too if you want to read more onto it. It magically produces pre-written and signature-ready contracts for your request, covering most of common contractual needs. It also occasionally produces sticky notes printed with useful information and inspiring quotes from the head office, just for a little bit of fun. It also does a lot of other things as you continue to increase in reputation. More on that as you go. The sending stone, right now at rank 1, does do something for you. It's an uncommon magic item that resembles a gemstone with a bold setting. It functions like a normal sending stone, except that it has no matching stone, but it allows you to communicate with the head office, specific secretarians that you know, or the secretarian closest to your location. You must succeed on a DC 15 intelligence or arcana check to establish the contact. Once the stone is successfully used, it cannot be used until the next dawn. So, basically, it allows you to communicate with somebody from the head office for information about jobs, if you wanted to ask about, certain rumors or whatnot. But remember, you can only use it once per day, so you need to be, and it functions just the same as the sending stone, but so you need to be very specific in what you're asking. It also grows in power as you grow in reputation. So as Letty is explaining all of this to you, and she finalizes it, there's other items too that will provide you as you continue to grow in reputation and capabilities, depending on your specific capabilities. With a group as large as yours, I'm sure you'll have a lot of different options in front of you just to stay alive. Basically, that's it. Come back when you made
Smalls
more
is
of an
just going to look
impact.
at I was going to say, Smalls is going to look at Letty and just, really? We just lost a comrade before we turn and walk.
Yeah, really. You know how many dead mercenaries I report on every single day? You know how many I deliver news on personally almost every single day? Your friend's not the first dead one to come through here, okay? Yeah, it sucks. But that's the life. And I know it better than most. So don't question me, big man. You have my condolences. But I know it better than you at this point. At least in this line of work. And she goes back to writing her papers.
We should tell the others.
Right.
Let's head back.
Can I
Oh.
take Letty's hand in secret and be like, don't worry. Like I told my friends, as the dead fall, so leaders will rise. You have my word, we'll try and do this a little bit better next time.
Cool.
Can I make it like a persuasion check to see if she'll remember me, at least?
You can make a persuasion check, or you can roll an insight check if you want to. If you want to determine what she's thinking in this exact moment versus the response, or if you want to try and leave a lasting impression.
I'm trying to leave an impression, so what would that
Persuasion.
be?
Persuasion. Absolutely.
Can I roll with advantage?
And
It's 7.
7. She's
Yeah.
hard. She is hard as
She is
fuck.
hard pressed, yeah. It's okay.
This is a very no nonsense. Like this woman works the front office of a mercenary corps every single day.
And I haven't really done much to do anything, so it's all good. The dice know, okay? The dice truly know.
The dice have spoken. Okay. But yes, you guys can go ahead and add. One of you can add a documency satchel to your inventory, and one of you can add a sending stone, singular, not plural, sending stone. It has a picture of a red stone with it on a chain in the inventory. You can add that to your to one of your inventories. You can pass it around as you see fit, whoever wants to carry it, but you can figure that out later.
Yep. I got it now, and we'll pass it around as needed.
Cool. Okay. With that, you all leave the Basilica?
Yeah, start heading back to the group to break the bad news.
Okay. I'm not going to make you pay another gold for the trolley. I'll say your first gold covers you to get back there. No issues. Nothing encounters along the way. Unless somebody's looking for something. But with that, I would say that everybody kind of arrives around the same time. Drew, you arrive a couple hours early. Morb is there working with Ingus. You can kind of just do whatever you need to in the time being. A couple hours between the time. Just before the actual bulk of the rest of the group arrive, Abby, you arrive back with Angus. Card empty, begins unhitching, taking care of the beetle, and everybody begins settling back in the day. It's later into the evening, about 7, 8 o'clock, and definitely end of a very long day for everybody. But the floor is yours. Everybody is back at the warehouse.
Okay. Xena and Athena walk in, and Xena's still clasping the dream catcher, but we go to the corner and just sit down, and I just sit there contemplating and petting Athena's head. And I see Avi and see Morb, and I just nod to them with sullen eyes.
Just reminding everybody, Morb, Abby, and Drew have no idea.
And I say,
seems like you had a rough day.
Did you get beat up at the dojo?
Oh, that's right. You guys went to the dojo. How was that?
Yeah, it was an experience. maybe you should talk to Maddie. And he's got the whole story. So
Actually, let Abby, can we take a walk? Um, I think this would be better if we talk to people in groups.
what do you
That is very cryptic.
Byron's dead.
What?
What?
Kyron is dead.
Well, that is the way to put it out there.
How did
Who killed him?
is this supposed to be like a little joke? Like they call pranks?
No. Unfortunately, it's not.
How did that happen? I thought you guys were just going to like a dojo. What happened at the dojo? Or was it before the dojo or after?
so
There was a series of tests at the dojo.
and Xena
There was
walks
an
over.
accident during one of them.
Xena walks over
Unfortunately.
during the conversation and
Xena,
just
don't
leans
don't-
on Smalls.
Don't cut people off, Xena.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was walking in the middle of them. Go.
There was a series of tests and a very unfortunate accident in the last one.
He died during the test.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we were completely overpowered. I don't think it wasn't intentional on the part of the masters, but we thoroughly got thrashed in an instant.
Okay.
Drum, I believe that there was remorse. I looked for every reason to throw that punch. And I do believe that he was remorseful.
I trust your judgment on that. I was not in the state that I could determine that.
Who all was fighting?
In this case, it was me, Xena, and Kyron.
You had Xena fighting with you guys?
We did.
Xena and so the two weakest ones, the ones with the least amount of durability, were the ones fighting in the final test?
Xena hears this and walks over and says, "What are you talking about? You weren't there. You don't know who the weakest one is. You don't know what happened. You can't even say that, especially to my back or to my face. You weren't there. You weren't in the trials, and don't call me weak."
The trials were broken up.
Forgive me, Xena. I am not trying to imply that you cannot do any damage, because I've seen you in battle and I know that you can, but I also know that you cannot take as many hits.
It wasn't about the hits. We all took hits. Byron took the worst hit, and he was the strongest of us. He
That is
was hit. He was hit, and we could do nothing about it. We could not do anything about it. It was not our fault. Do not blame any of us for what
I'm not
happened.
trying to blame you, Xena. I'm just trying to understand why that was your strategy.
Unfortunately, it was supposed to be a battle of the minds. Unbeknownst to us, there was a physical component to the battle. We actually thought it was probably our best bet. Unfortunately, there was a lot more damage that was dealt than was expected. It was supposed to be a battle of wits.
Xena, to clarify, I base what I say solely on the fact that you do not wear armor.
I have
That is
armor.
it.
See my armor? I got special armor. I am stronger now, but the armor had nothing to do with it. The dojo was totally different than any of us expected. None of us expected anything like this. None of the masters said they expected this. It was a rarity. And Kyron took that rarity, and we are all suffering. We none expected it. It came out of nowhere, and there was nothing we could do, no matter what armor we had on. Sorry, I'm sorry. It's sad. I wish you were there and you could. I don't want you to experience it, but I just wish you could have seen it. I'm sorry. Sorry. Where's Maddie? Where's Maddie?
Maddie is nowhere close to anybody in the room. He's definitely off by himself.
Abby. You know, I don't know who can explain this best to you. I don't. Smalls, you know. I don't know.
What else is there to understand?
I don't know. Abby, what are you looking for? What kind of answers do you want? What do we need to tell you?
I don't know. I I have been traveling with you guys for so long. It feels like ages. You said that it was a test of the mind.
That's right.
That would explain Chiron.
He fought valiantly. He was very valiant.
I don't blame you guys. I don't know what happened there. But it was a training exercise.
Exactly. Exactly. And none of us expected it. No, nobody. I mean, we went there to learn or to find tattoos. That was the whole goal. Had no idea what we were up against. But we weren't up against. It was just a trial. It was a training.
Did
Friendly
nobody
fire.
gather any intel before going in? Did Maddie tell you guys anything about the place that you were traveling to? It was his idea, after all, wasn't it? Or did you guys just all impulsively decide to go with him? And I will also look at Drew when I say that, and I'm like, your impulsivity is constantly getting you guys into situations like this.
Drew wasn't there.
No, Drew was not. But where was Drew all day?
I don't know.
Every person is free to make their own choices.
Agreed.
Maddie decided he
However,
was going to go. There was nobody that forced anybody.
I know. I'm not saying that anybody was forced to go, but you also have to keep in mind that the things that happen also impact everyone else. I have been with you guys consistently for a long time now, since this whole group was started, and I have constantly told you guys that we need to be careful. The things that you guys do that attract attention to you also directly affects me. It very directly affected Chiron. Every day that I am in a major city, my life is at risk. Smalls has seen that himself. If you guys could not protect Chiron, how do I know that you guys can protect me?
It wasn't about protection.
It was. You guys were a team in the
You
trial.
could stop right now.
Working together.
It was about training. We wanted to learn. We wanted to learn more from these masters, and it was just a training. It was a training. It's not about protection. It wasn't about protecting you or anyone else. We were there as a team together to
Teams are
learn,
supposed to protect each other.
to learn
Zena.
and to grow. And we did it together. We did everything together. And it was the very last thing that happened. It came out of nowhere. And no amount of healing or protection or anything. And that is a learning opportunity for all of us. We will never let that happen again. We can't take back what happened. We can't take back or get Chiron back. But we have learned a very valuable lesson. And you weren't there.
What is the
And
lesson?
the lesson is to protect and to be together, but we were together. Our lesson was that we were a team, and teams suffer at times. We had no idea that we would be suffering this loss at this time. But we
Maddie,
took the
Maddie's gonna
choice.
walk over to Abby while they're arguing. And he's gonna look at Abby.
So everybody in the room can hear this at this point. You guys are, it's a large space, but voices definitely carry.
Maddie walks over and says, "It was my fault. He's dead." He says that to Abby.
Smalls looks at Maddie. Again, I understand why you feel this. And again, I tell you it was not. Every one of us was free to make a choice whether to go or not go, whether to test to get in or not. This
Why are you all defending
cannot be
him?
laid on your head.
Maddie, it's not your fault. It's not anybody's fault. We can't blame it on anybody. So don't point your fingers at us. You weren't there. You don't
I'm not
know
looking to
what
place blame, Xena.
What did you just say? That
I
you
want you
can't
guys to
count
take
on us to
responsibility.
protect you? You can't count on us to protect you. That's what you said. Is that what you said?
I'm asking.
Are you asking?
In being part of the team, you put trust in each other to take care of each other.
Exactly.
How can I trust you, Xena?
I can't believe those words are coming out of your mouth at this time. We have been through a huge a huge loss of someone that we love, and it was no fault of anybody's. Chiron made his choice. We all made our choice to be there. Who knew what would happen? It was a no-win situation for him. Put yourself in that situation. Sacrifice or walk away. None of us could do any of that. We were stuck in this place. Chiron chose to be there with us. We all chose to be there. We all took hits. We were all put down. We were all knocked out. But we fought on, and Chiron took the blow that no one could take back. We've tried. We all protect. I can't believe that you're saying that. You were not there, and you do not know what we suffer.
Do you think if I was there, he'd still be here?
It's not. No, I can't believe you're not mourning with us, that you're blaming us for something that was not our fault. We went off and just wanted to have fun and to learn some new things. We were just going to learn some new things. But we learned a hard lesson, but nobody expected it, not even the dojo that we were in. They were mourning as well. We were all in mourning, and we come back here in mourning, and you start saying that you can't trust us to protect you. I I think you need to think about those words and say them again. Say 'em
Maddie's
again.
Maddie's gonna step in and pull Xena aside. He's gonna go ahead and grab her and start pulling her away.
Big inhale. I'm sorry, Maddie. I'm sorry. Sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. I'm just.
No, you're not.
We're all upset.
You guys talk as if we've known each other for years. We've only been together for 2 months. 2 months. And you say that it took a death for you to realize that people suffer? You don't think people suffer and it took a death for that to happen?
Excuse me?
That's kind of just naive.
We suffered. What are you talking about? We've all suffered through this weeks that we've been together.
We
And
need to.
is an exclamation point.
Yeah, but you said you just said I'm saying what you said. You said that the lesson you learned was that people suffer. It took a death for you to learn that? And you also said that you were trying to be fun, have fun, but your fun got someone killed. And you also thought it's a fighting dojo. You guys went in there not thinking you were gonna fight? I don't know, man.
Dojo. It's a
That's
dojo.
me.
What is do you know what dojo means? It's practice. It's learning. It's training. Of course we went there to learn, to train,
Fight.
to fight.
And you
But
thought
not
you weren't gonna fight?
but not to the death. That
You
was
have to
not
expect
part of the
death.
plan.
Death is everywhere.
It is quite
It
literally
is.
in our job.
It is.
Death is
And I
definitely
have
expected in any fight.
right? And
Yeah.
I myself have suffered and been brought down. You don't think I know what suffering is? I
Right.
can't
Because you
believe.
lost your wings.
No, I lost more than that. I lost more than that. And you, of all people, should understand that.
I've never lost
But
my wings, Xena. I
no,
still
you
have.
haven't. You do. I know. But you know the woman I'm talking about. And she is in your dreams as well. And I pray she never comes to you. There is more to suffering than just the outer body. And we know that. And I know the suffering of the body as well. And for you to mock me for what I say, do not ever mock me. We were in a situation and we are trying to come out of it. So please have empathy. Just walk back your words and have empathy, and we can talk about this later. I'm going to go sit with Athena, who was there, by the way, and defended us as
Do you know
well.
why I went where I did today?
Yeah,
Do you know why?
to be a bodyguard.
He asked me to go with him specifically because he knows that you guys attract too much attention.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So we're mercenaries. We have no name, but we are renowned. Didn't we find that out, Maddie? We're renowned. Smalls, didn't they say we have a reputation? And our reputation is good. And I
Hey,
I
Xena, go and take a
Cena
seat.
Cena passes
Take
out on the
Athena and go
floor.
take a seat.
Nope, she just passed out on the floor.
Leave her. All
I'm gonna look
y'all.
at Morb, or no, I'm gonna look at Morn and be like, "Your friend is a little dramatic." I think
Yes.
I'm going to take that walk, as was suggested earlier, and I will speak to you soon. Drum, did you want to come with me?
I do. I think we have a lot to discuss.
Maddie, you're welcome to come as well.
I was just going to extend that invitation.
Hey, Drew. I see ya. Want to walk with me?
Yeah. I would say through that whole conversation, Drew did not take his eyes off Monroe.
I didn't either. On Drew.
Oh my.
Oh, okay.
We were listening to everything, but yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Maddie's gonna join them.
So I guess Athena just comes over and lays down next to Xena.
Yeah, Xena's passed out.
Yep, and Athena's next to her.
Small's not being invited to any group. Just goes finds a corner of the barn and gets comfy.
Go hang out with Morb. He needs somebody.
I know, I thought you and Morb had a thing.
Yeah, I definitely thought that was where that was going.
Yes, no?
Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Maybe you guys just don't need to know yet.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe that's the
Oh
great romance.
my.
The quiet romance.
The floor's y'all's. Whoever wants to go first. The rest of the night
Like,
is y'all.
do we need to roll like initiative to see like what group goes first and then go from there?
Yeah,
Let's
sure.
do that.
Yeah, somebody roll me an initiative for each group.
I have
Alright.
Alex's thing open, so I'll just roll a d20. A 9 for Morn and a 4 for me.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
You're going second. All right.
No, we were just rolling to see which group would go first, and since yours thing was pulled up, I just pulled it. There you go. So Morn's going first. Okay. Let me mute.
Hey, Drew. Where were you?
I had business to attend to.
I mean, so, okay, DM, quick question. Do I need a roll to perceive that Drew's eye is a different color hue or anything about that? Do I have to roll like a perception?
Now, with passive perception, like his eye is obviously a different color. Like he had very deep, dark brown eyes before this.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely different.
Okay. Yeah, you had business. That eye though, like, and you're looking, and I'm just start to blush because I'm like, wow, you look pretty good in the heat of battle or business or battley business. What you're a great fighter. What in the world will I be able to know what business happened or what happened?
I took that ring off you. And I took it to where it wanted to go.
The ring.
Oh, you don't remember?
I swear I had it in my pocket this entire time.
No.
And I look and I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess I never had that ring in a while. I swear I had it this whole time.
I've had it since we kissed the first time. You asked me to protect you.
I didn't know it meant you would take a ring from me.
It had hurt you already.
Oh. Well, shoot, I'm glad you noticed. But wait, an inanimate object took you somewhere.
Yeah.
Took you where? And
To its house.
an inanimate object owns another inanimate object. As a
Doesn't it talk to
house
you?
top. But I hear voices a lot. I think that side I am not trying to have my accent come out with my Ahem.
A soul was using the ring as safekeeping. I took it to its house. He got a body.
That's insane. Does he had a body? Or
Yes.
it or
Yeah, he has a body now.
yeah, he oh wait. Is it that weird, like cackly sounding weird, like just do it sort of like weird attitude that was always
Yeah.
so impressionable?
Yeah, he's a difficult man to work with.
Difficult how?
He's just
Like
fucking weird.
is the difficulty from your new eye that you got?
Oh no, he poisoned me so he could put this in.
What?
Don't tell the rest of them that.
Oh, he poisoned you into.
Yeah, he stood over me, stroking my face, reciting some weird poetry. And then he wanted to enter into a business deal. So we might have some jobs. I've reason to believe he's got money.
Money. So we went and we had, talk about Kyron, and that whole ordeal with Letty. And Letty emphasized something about that, where it's like, it's not about being saints or anything, it's about profit. And I think that is sticking to me a little bit, and then hearing a bit of Xena's ideas also brought about an interesting idea. It's a great leader is bringing about gold, isn't it, huh? Or someone to have, like, some sort of power. Is that how it's supposed to be?
It depends on what you mean by a great leader. There's leaders who are good with their crew, there's leaders who aren't.
They're
You can
still leaders,
persevere
even a
with
bad
great.
crew. Just between you and me.
Wait, what was that?
Oh, I was saying the good leader has a bad crew.
The leader is their crew.
How
The ones that
many
ain't
do you
good, will
need?
you cut them loose?
Cut them loose. Hmm. Well, I mean, you'd follow me, I'd follow you, right? Does a leader have to be just one, or is it like a consistent partnership?
You want to lead this group?
I never said leave.
Lead. You want to lead
Oh,
this group?
lead? I don't know what I want. All I know is I feel this nice pull to take action a little bit more so. Not for being good or being bad, just to get something out of it. Because so far, if this group is all about just going about learning lessons and gaining reputation, I'd rather gain a reputation paid for it rather than just learning a nice little lesson out of it. I'm learning a lot, don't get me wrong, but we didn't get anything other than what was on Kyron's body and a bit of a sore headache.
That wasn't a mission. That wasn't a job.
So I guess I'm learning that we just gotta take some jobs then. But what about you too? You didn't have a job, but you got something cool, right? An
I got a
eyeball.
job now.
Oh, nice.
Like I
But
said, I was doing business.
true.
Didn't go exactly the way I wanted, but you can't always predict things.
Unpredictability is a really fun way to live. But I do like the idea of taking what you can get and doing a bit better each time. And probably have a better reputation at hand than the reputation of we die by going and doing training classes. But I digress. You do look pretty cool with that new eye, and is something burning on you?
No, no, I don't think so.
Oh, dang, it might be Angus or Angus then burning something.
Why?
I don't know. You look hotter than before. And
Well,
I
thank
tried to do a very nice
darling.
burning pickup line. It just didn't work out like what I wanted. Dang it. But no, that what I'm trying to say is you're pretty hot. As in, like, that eye is making you look pretty cool, and Flynn better, you know, stay back. Maybe. I'm terrible at flirting. You know. I'm just glad you're back. And I'm just glad you're here. Kyron's blow truly was a hard one. How are you dealing with that news?
We're all gonna die. Death is gonna come for each and every one of us. It's a matter of when, not if. And maybe Kyron's was a little too soon, but that's not for any of us to decide.
I agree. I don't want it to be too soon for me either, you know. Reputation's a bit important,
Of course it is.
is what I'm learning anyway. But hey, let's try and head back to the group. I just wanted to make sure that you were okay.
I'm doing just fine, darling. In fact, I feel better than I have in a really long time.
I am happy to hear that. That's a good news in all of this. And I better go and check on Xena, make sure her head isn't even more delicate than it is right now, it seems.
Yeah, let's go get her.
Okay.
both make your way over to check on Xena, who is passed out completely at this point. So with that, I'm going to shift over to group number 2.
Before we get started, Lucky does need to go for a walk, so try to keep yelling to a minimum. He won't understand, and Abby, I know he can't hear your yelling, but just keep that in mind.
Well, lucky for him, pun intended, that won't be an issue.
Good, that's my only request. So, I want to say this before we get too far in this. I am annoyed at what happened with Chiron, but I also don't want to go to Sylvaden. So, Maddie, I think you're going to have to convince me to why I should continue. I know I promised my allegiance to Abby, and I figured she should be here for this talk. But I need to know why I should follow you into such a place that I have no interest of being.
I honestly didn't know that I needed to convince you. Why don't you want to go to Sylvaden?
My matters are my own. I was going to go initially because that is where this group seemed to be heading. Unfortunately, it seems that one death has fractured our group to a uncomfortable level. And I'm going to put this on you as the leader, not for his death, but for where we're going forward. I need a reason to stay part of this company.
I'm not going to lie to you, Drum. I don't think you're the only one. I feel like this company's breaking up as we speak. If
I think I'm going to be completely honest with you, Maddie. I like you a lot. And it is not a feeling that I am used to, and I don't want to leave. But I can't constantly be so anxious that one of you guys is going to get me killed.
wait, you're leaving too?
I don't want to.
I have hope for this group as well. However, they have considered you de facto leader.
Which makes sense to me. I would rather follow you anywhere than Smalls. That man is abrasive and has no tact. And the only reason I get along with him is because he saved my life once.
Wait, what? He saved your life?
Yes. When I was walking Lucky and to Dangerous All Works, I think it was, somebody tried to kill me. And I had to hide in trash until I could find a time to escape. And in that, Smalls showed up because he was apparently following me. And he saved my life in that. And for that, I feel like I owe him something, but that does not mean that I like him as a person. I understand that he is fighting for something to do with his kids, but I have no ties to him otherwise. I still find him extremely rude and abrasive, and I do not like his tone most of the time.
Did you both pull me over here to tell me that you guys are leaving? Like, I don't understand.
I was not expecting Avi to also be of the same mindset. I was going to relinquish my responsibilities to you.
I'm sorry, with the fight that I just had with Xena, you guys did not expect me to want to leave? I literally said that you guys are so impulsive that it makes me scared for my life.
I feel like you both pulled me aside to tell me this. I don't even know what to say.
Well, I did pledge my allegiance to Avi. So, if she chooses to leave, I will also leave. I don't necessarily have to follow her, but I feel like our goals align well enough that I would be able to help her out. Unfortunately, in this instance, I wasn't able to protect Chiron, but the blow that also killed him also incapacitated me.
Yeah, at that, Maddie gets quiet for sure.
Okay, look, when I joined your guys' group, I was not expecting to be so attached to you, Maddie. I've never felt like this for anybody, ever, but I've only ever been with my hive, so it's not something I know what to do with. And as much as I like you and want to be around you, I do also have to keep my hive in mind. And that requires me to be somewhere that can help me with my goal. Not somewhere where I'm going to be constantly worried that somebody's going to badmouth some sort of important person in front of a guard or something, and suddenly we're going to be in a fight. Monroe is constantly mouthing off to people. Drew is constantly doing things that he should not be doing. Drinking from cauldrons, going off on his own at ungodly morning hours. Disappearing for who knows how long. Nobody knows where he was today. I took one look at him and realized he did something stupid. Drum, as much as I trust him because of the pact that we have made, if it were not for that, I don't know if he would ever stab me in the back, as I know he doesn't like my kind. Smalls, I have no doubt he would do the exact same thing as Morn, if not worse, having been a man in the military before. And don't even get me started on Cena. Morb could care less what happens to anybody in this group. I'm surprised he even said anything at all during the whole thing with me and Xena. I want to stay. But I need to know that you guys aren't going to take his death and do nothing with it. I need to know that you guys are recognizing the issues and do something to fix them.
I have a curious thought. While it's not the perfect solution, what if, at least internally, our group splits into two? So outward facingly, we have 4 or 5 members. And then inward facingly, we have our 8 members. That way some of us can remain hidden or unassuming. Because our group does attract a lot of attention, even more so than I'm willing, which is part of the reason that I am not a fan of going to Sylvaden. That is a place I do not need any attention.
Maddie, I'm not sure if you fully grasp, but many people consider me a monster. Something to be hunted and killed. The only reason that I have made it this far is because I have some very, very good people on my side who have made sure that everything is as legit as it possibly can be. And kept me as unassuming as possible for as long as possible.
Maddie looks at Drum and says, if Abby stays, you'll stay.
Absolutely.
Maddie looks at Abby.
Forgive me for saying this, Abby, but you're not the only person who I've associated with that was considered a monster. and for their sake, I am willing to protect you because I understand what they were trying to do to the world. And unfortunately, I wasn't strong enough then to help them. However, I feel like I can help you progress in your goals.
Maddie goes in close to Abby then, and he's gonna whisper something to her, which I'm actually gonna text real quick.
I know little whispers. Patiently waiting.
That sounds like patience to me.
Patience dwindling. Patience is gone.
I'm like patiently staring at my phone, just like, come on.
That's not patience.
He says something to Abby, and he's hoping that she says that she's going to stay.
I'm gonna look at him extremely confused. And then just to him, not to Drum, I'm gonna go, I thought your people didn't have those.
I need you to stay.
Hold on. I need to roll some dice.
My persuasion's really good, by the way.
Is it?
It's like a plus 10 or something.
Oh, for sure. If I stay, I need you to promise me that you will do what you can to make sure not just me, but the whole group is safe. As much as I worry about myself, we're a team.
I promise.
I'm gonna hold out one of my hands and stick out a pinky.
Maddie looks at it kind of sideways and holds out his pinky too. Doesn't take it though, just does mimics her.
I'm gonna take his pinky and like interlock ours. And then I'm gonna be like, if you break this promise, I'm breaking off your pinkies.
Can I hear that comment?
Yes.
All right. I don't think that's how it works, but it seems that you two have come to an agreement. And if it is an agreement, I believe that means we are going to be joining you on your future expeditions, Maddie.
Maddie's gonna embrace Abby, not Drum.
I love the specification. I'm gonna like be a little surprised and then I'm gonna hug him back. And then to Drum, I'm gonna be like, so did he not notice that I told him that I like him? Like twice?
Tim, I gotta use another one of my messages. This message is going to Abby.
Mm-hmm.
I think he knows, or is incredibly hopeful. But you will have to tell me what you guys agreed to later. I don't know what I'm agreeing to. I'm just following your lead.
Yeah, he won't stab me in the back yet.
I have no reason to.
I'm gonna like step back from Maddie a little bit and be like, okay, I need to know. Did you know that Xena likes you?
Xena likes me?
You did not. Okay. Yeah. So I kind of realized, because you remember how you were helping me on the ship before, and then she came down and kind of freaked out?
Yeah, I was super embarrassed and ran away.
Yes, you did. I realized that it wasn't because of my wings, it was because she likes you.
No, that's not true. No, there's no, nah.
That is what it is. It is.
There's no way. That's funny.
That's all you have to say about that?
Oh, that's just not true though. Like, yeah, that's I would know. I
No,
know
you wouldn't.
I know that stuff.
You can tell if somebody likes you?
I 100%. I know that stuff.
Drum is also going to stare at him in not disbelief, but definitely a look of "Do you really?"
I think you are a little off, my dear.
I'm just so happy you guys are staying. I'm just so happy.
Okay. Hey, by the way, out of curiosity, do you happen to remember what I told you when we went to the mansion the first time?
Remember the plan?
Yeah, when he was high? Do you remember what I said to you?
Um, I took a drink of their alcohol, and that's all I remember.
Okay. That is very good to know. I'm gonna turn to Drum and be like, I guess we have our own little secret now, huh, don't we?
I'm not even going to use a message this time. I'm going to just shrug and say, "Of course, that's part of the plan, right?"
It is now.
Drum's just gonna smile and be like clearly more excited than Drum has been for most of this mission because he feels like there's been an understanding. All right.
By the
Well,
way,
Oh.
if I find out that Drew did something extremely stupid, I am yelling at him. Just fair warning to both of you.
you know you don't have to direct that yelling to all of us, right? You can just directly yell at him.
Oh, I will. I'm just saying, if he gets a headache, you'll know why.
I'm just gonna giggle.
Anyways, I'm gonna turn and look at Lucky and be like, "Are you all good to go?"
He seems excited. Yes, we are good to go. I guess we should go back and talk to the others.
Mm-hmm. And then we can walk back.
As you guys enter back inside, it takes a couple of minutes after the walk. Lucky's fully relieved. He's happy. He's go lucky. You guys get back inside the warehouse. You all get back inside, and Angus is sitting there at the base of his steps leading up to the second level where his little living quarters is, and he's just kind of stroking his brow a little bit. And he has a rolled up parchment in his hand. Ah, good. The rest of you decided to come back. Joyous fucking day. Y'all done?
Yes, sir.
Somebody do me a favor and wake the fucking fairy up.
That's not gonna be me.
Sorry. Sorry. Okay, let me stand up. I feel foolish. I'm sorry. I'm back. I'm back. I'm sorry. Okay, Angus, sorry. Go.
Oh, thank you for your permission.
Hmm.
Every fucking one of you listen up. Ever since he came back, it's been like a goddamn schoolyard in here, and I won't be having none of it. I hire professionals. I expect you all to act like fucking professionals. I'm sorry that the horse Chiron is dead. I'm sorry for the way that he fucking died. He should. If he was gonna fucking die, it should have been back in the half a dozen other fucking things. It should have killed the other half of you. But it didn't. Doesn't change the fact that dead is fucking dead. Welcome to the fucking life. Now, I'm going against my better fucking judgment here. Me real better fucking judgment. I'm gonna go out on a limb and I say, I actually like this group. You're fucking weird. But you know what? You come together when it matters. And you need to do that now. Enough of the fucking emotions, enough of the fucking bickering. Keep each other alive or you're gonna end up like your fucking friend. And I'm not gonna let that happen to my brother and I, eh? I'm putting my trust in you. And frankly, I got plans for all of you. So, all of you fucking decide right now. And he walks over to one of the pillars in the warehouse and he stabs it. He rolls this parchment. He stabs it into there with a small, like, little stiletto dagger. It's hanging up there. And it's the contract that he offered all of you for the transport to Sylvaden. I've doubled all your fucking pay. You're more experienced now. You're more than capable. You've proven yourself to me, brother and I. Now you need to continue proving your fucking selves. I'll pay you all double what I did to get me Ian Ingus over to Opus Day. The fucking bonus stays the same. Because until you all can prove that you can all act like a fucking professionals and act like a true company that is going to take me someplace, someplace, I'm not up in that. Get my brother to Sylvaden. Get him back safe and sound. 200 gold a person, 500 gold for his safety, and I'll even have something special for you when you get back. Because like I said, I got plans for you, and I happen to weirdly like you. So figure it the fuck out.
Bourne already hears that the word profit was doubled and is just going to sign his name without confronting anybody. There's profit here, y'all.
When I wake up in the morning, whoever signs this leaves with Ingus. If you don't, get the fuck out of my warehouse come morning.
So
This is
Xena walks up and signs underneath Monroe and looks back and sees Obby. Yo, what about the fortune that we got before? You were supposed to handle that, Obby. Do we get the fortune or not?
I'm just gonna like cock my head at her, step over, and sign my name.
Is that a yes or no?
I'm gonna turn around, look at Maddie and Drum, and then go, all right, good night, guys.
Okay, so Maddie, we were supposed to discuss that pay from the last time, and apparently you and Abby and Drum have a little thing going on. So, are we going to get our portion of the last raid we did, or I'll just let you handle that? You know.
Yeah, we decided we're gonna split it up. So I'll find out the money that we have and we'll split it up in the morning. Okay.
When did we
Yes.
get paid? I didn't even realize that we'd received our payment for the last. Like, I understand that Angus and Angus paid us, but we received payment for something else?
Well, it wasn't for the mercenaries. It's because we did that side with Priscilla.
Yeah, so Maddie was high when we got the payment for that, so I still have it in my pouch, but I can give it to you guys.
I was high, so I probably wouldn't know that.
I wasn't there for that session and it wasn't recorded, so.
Oh yeah, that was the session that didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the technical difficulties. Okay, everyone was just having a rough week that week.
Don't be
we
mad
got
at
a
the dead.
reward.
I'm
It's in my
sorry,
notes
I
though,
try.
so
Yes, to clarify, above the table, you guys did get paid 2,000 gold for the safe delivery of Princess Drusilla to her betrothed.
Yeah, I don't think Abby told anyone, so we'll see if she reveals that to anyone.
Well, everybody that was with the group that delivered her knows about the 2,000 gold that was tossed through the fence. So
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and divide it then. So it's going to be 250 to everybody.
There you go.
Except for the weird cube thing.
Yes.
Weird cube.
Yeah.
Kyron's portion is not is since he's no longer with you. His portion gets divided among the group.
That's cute right now.
Sorry, Kyron.
Gotcha.
Hashtag love you.
Oh no!
Oh,
You guys
forget.
are whores for taking my money.
I did forget. Kyron's money also gets divided among everybody too. I forgot about that with this stuff. That
Well,
is-
how much was it?
With his body, guys.
Oh, now he chips in.
Yeah.
Kyron,
Thanks,
Kyron,
Loot my
Right.
body.
Kyron had
That body.
Kyron had 130 gold pieces on his person. So
Divided by 8. That's 130 divided by 8.
16.25.
so everybody takes 17 gold pieces. I'll round
Just
it
to
up.
be nice.
I'll round it up to be nice, because
Yeah, round it down and take their last gold from the last fairy of the day.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
I know. Why aren't we giving a gold to
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, sort that out. All right, back to the description. But Angus hangs this sign up, hangs this contract up in his warehouse. Basically, he's giving you an ultimatum. It's like anybody who signs this is agreeing to work as a team, as a as a partnership. He doesn't give a shit about y'all's politics and like how you all are going to get along. All he cares about is the end result. But he's been very upfront and very open that he does, in his own way, care about all of you. He sees potential. And is it a way? I mean, anybody who is actually anybody who's proficient in insight, roll me an insight check.
All right, I am.
Land. You said
Oh
insight?
shit! I
If
only
you're
got 8.
proficient in it.
Anybody who's proficient in insight, roll it for me.
I got it.
14.
8.
8.
Oh, yeah,
Got a
Drew.
14.
Sucks this up.
14 got
Yeah.
Drew.
It
Okay.
was,
Yeah.
Anybody else?
it was like right here. I thought it was a 15 because of the way that it was laying.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
I got an 8.
8, 7, and 8. On a 7 and 8, Abi and Xena, you take him at his word. Exactly what he said is what you feel. Drew, on a 14, you definitely get the sensation that he is saying these things sincerely. He means them, but he is also very profit driven. He sees potential for profit in working with all of you in a benefit to not only himself, but it's not exactly out of the goodness of his heart type thing. So, with
Hey,
that,
Drew, do you relay that to me in any way?
No.
Darn it.
all right. With that, anybody that signs this in the fucking morning, when I check it, you all leave with Angus. We'll have another discussion because anybody who's on that fucking list, we're going to talk about better assignments and how you are all going to start working more as a fucking team on the road because I'm not sending my brother out there without me, with the lot of you, to fucking die. So, anybody who's still here in the morning, I'll see you in the morning. Get the fuck in bed. And he kind of walks back up the stairs and goes to his living quarters and closes the curtain. I return the floor to everybody else now.
Right. Well, I signed my name. I'm going to bed.
Anybody else who wants to sign it, you can either message me. If you're all going to stay, message me and just let me know, and we'll deal with that as it comes.
Right, and Xena's gonna grab Athena, go to the corner, curl up, and sleep. Good night,
Any-
Morn. Good night, Drew. Good night, Maddie. Good night,
Night,
Drum.
Any other conversations or anything that needs to happen before you all take your long rest?
Nah, Maddie's gonna have first watch because he's pretty amped up.
Okay.
I'll
Do you
take
need
second
to-
watch.
Who's taking second watch?
Abby.
Abby. Okay. Maddie and Abby. All right. Anybody, but no other conversations. Nothing else that needs to happen. Okay.
So Drum is going to go sign his name, but then he's going to look at Drew, and he's going to like narrow his eyes at Drew, and just walk away, but muttering under his breath, he's being weird again.
I'm just kind of like call at him, be like, Drum, if you got something to say to me, you can say it.
I'm going to turn around. You're being weird again.
Buddy, this is just who I am.
That's I guess that's fair. I guess I get to know you better, but it's you're like a disturbance to the ether. I cannot describe it.
Well, thank you. I'm gonna wink at him.
With your blue eye or your brown eye?
Whichever. Gonna wink the brown eye.
Which brown eye?
Yeah, you
Knew that was coming.
Fucking Drew, always showing hole.
All right.
I thought it was me. Never mind.
Anybody else?
Ugh.
All right. Maddie, I need you to roll me. Maddie and Avi, I need you to roll me perception checks for your watches.
I lied. I don't have a +10 for anyone that was wondering. All right.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, weird.
That's bad. I don't like these dice.
Sucks to suck.
For real though, I got a 6.
14 for Maddie.
14. Maddie, you're taking first watch, Maddie?
Yeah, I got first watch.
Okay. On a 14, actually, Monroe, we had you roll your stealth last time, I believe. I believe that was.
Let me check.
So we can take our exhaustion away with the.
Stealth was
Yes.
22.
On your long rest, anybody that has a point of exhaustion, you can. If you have 2 points of exhaustion, you may remove 1 on your long rest.
My stealth was 22 on
Yeah.
that roll.
Good. Maddie, on a 14, you notice that something is moving around in the night, but you don't really. It's been a long day, and nothing is really disturbed in the warehouse. Nothing's really putting you on edge any more than just a half a second of you realizing that somebody might have been moving around in the night, but you don't take notice that Monroe has slipped away from the warehouse. Monroe, we revisit that same dream that you had last session. You're back home. Wild colors, vibrant greens, crazy blues, waterfalls flowing up, streams going uphill. Magnificent. You're home again at last, and all of you're jostling around, running through. It's like you haven't felt this way for as long as you can remember, but it feels like being home again. And then you're at the river's edge. You're at the river's edge, and then all of a sudden you're at the edge of the ocean, vast, with a storm brewing off in the distance. You let yourself be taken by the waves and sunk, and you try to let yourself sink deeper and deeper and deeper into the depths, only to be held up by some water elemental, something holding you up, keeping your head above the waves. You struggle, you call out to the being that you see off in the distance, this magnificent being, massive and just imposing, watching you, just observing everything that's going on, shaking his head as he watches you struggle, watches you try to call out to him, but you don't struggle against the elemental until the last minute when you realize that, no, I want to give in. I want to sink. Stop holding me up. Stop holding me back. And you stab out, and you stab this creature right in the chest, and all of a sudden its life force comes pouring out of itself, and it lets go, and you begin to sink deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's when you snap awake and realize that you're not in the warehouse anymore. You're back on the Splinters on Me Fingers ship, and down at your feet is Morgan Fairchild, the first mate, crew member, Captain Albert Alexander. A giant stab wound in her chest, her blood pouring out and pooling over the decks, gasping for air, looking up at you. A look of, she's both terrified and confused, looking at you, gasping for air. And in your decision, you knelt down. What did you say?
I'm sorry I can't have you speaking up for me. My reputation's at stake.
As your dagger finds her throat, and what's left of her life immediately fades away. You go to stand up, and you look around. It doesn't seem like there's anybody here. It's the dead of night. Who the hell would be out here like this? But then you start to feel a slight tingle on your left wrist. And you look down, and something begins to take shape. And you notice that down below, something begins to remove itself from Morgan Fairchild as one of her tattoos, the one from her left wrist, immediately raises up off of her skin and finds itself firmly placed on your left wrist. It's a flowery, intricate, black and gray design of a nautical compass, almost like a delicate, intricate wristwatch now sitting on your left wrist, has pulled itself off of her and is now yours. And you hear that same voice again. I recognize you, champion. As you jump off the ship and disappear back into the night. Abby, what did you roll on your perception?
She rolled an 8. She
Monroe,
had to run to the bathroom.
you're good. Monroe, you make your way back to the warehouse. Do you just walk in or do you sneak your way back in?
Since I woke up and I realized that I have a lot that I've been contemplating, I'm gonna have to try and sneak back in and just get back to bed so people don't question me.
And roll that stealth again against the 8.
How about an 18?
You slink back in against the 8. No one's the wiser. You're back in your bed, back in your cot, back in your sleeping bag, whatever it might be. And you drift back off to sleep for a few hours before dawn finds the rest of everybody else. Maddie, after your first watch, do you do anything?
Oh man, I think I'm going to have to take a rest because I'm on. I forgot to tell you I'm on 2 levels of exhaustion, so I probably should have failed that test anyway from all the fights at the Mojo Dojo. So I think he's going to wake up Abby, and if she doesn't have anything to say, he's going to go to sleep.
Yeah, I took it into account when she was sneaking out.
Oh, okay, appreciate it.
Is Abby back? Did you wake her up, or did you say anything as she was? You guys were changing posts.
I'm back.
Yeah, I'm just waking her up and being pretty shy about it and stuff. See, if she doesn't have anything to say, I'm just going to go to sleep.
I'm gonna wink at him.
Moore probably would have waited to sign the contract until Avi was on watch.
Okay.
Just since that's going on.
Sure. All right.
Do you say anything to him when he?
Just
When
look at-
okay, so when I see him go up to sign, I am gonna say something to him. Just gonna be a quick little. I'm glad that you're gonna be around. It's good to have somebody else who can see through some bullshit.
Yeah, I've seen my fair share.
Where's that accent from?
Don't remember his name.
Was he with you on the ship?
Briefly. Before he was sold off.
Oh. I see. He must have made some sort of impact for you to have kept his mannerisms.
Possibly. It is very truly possible.
Enjoy your rest.
As in long, they make me want to hit my head against the wall.
Yeah. Me too sometimes.
I'm gonna try sneaking some stuff into my cash, Marshall.
Sure. Abby, are you paying attention, or you're on watch? So I would say roll. You want to use your same roll? I would say this is your same roll because it's your roll for watch. So you still have an
I
8.
have my armor. I would have my armor off.
Okay, yeah, then go ahead and roll me stealth at advantage because yeah, you're inside. You're trying to be as very quiet as you are. Literally trying to be as quiet as possible.
It doesn't matter anyways.
It's the other one. Yeah.
So it
It wouldn't-
would need a roll. I wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah.
Lying.
So I'm gonna hide 100 gold into my cash.
Okay. Yeah, you keep track of whatever you're stashing in your cash. I would say,
Yeah.
I would say that you're able to find a place that's kind of off in the back corner of one of the warehouse. It's a loose set of floorboards, but you're able to like slide some barrels on top of it and kind of keep it pretty damn well hidden. It's about the best place you think you're going to find here.
Hmm.
But what would you roll in that stealth?
I rolled a 15.
Yeah, you're good. You managed to slip past Obby. So only you, as far as you know, only you know about this place, this cache.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Abby, is there anything else? Or Maddie, did you went to bed?
Yeah, since I had the levels of exhaustion, I went straight to bed unless prompted otherwise.
Yep. Go ahead and take that one level of exhaustion away. That's perfectly fine. Everybody take your long rests.
He doesn't even register that I winked at him.
Mm-mm.
He's that oblivious.
Yeah, not at all.
I love that. All right.
So if we had 2 levels, then we would have just
You're-
one taken, and we still have one
Yeah, you're
in the
down to one.
morning.
Yeah, basically you need a 4-hour rest to consider it a long rest. You need at least 4 hours of low activity or 4 hours of sleep. So.
Okay.
All right. With that, everybody takes their long rest, and we'll take a look at the contract in the morning and see who's all going to carry on with the rest of the group and is going to take on the next leg of this journey. But before we get to that part, Maddie, how you sleeping?
Sounds like not good.
Go ahead and roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Ooh. Well,
12.
12.
Out of
12?
character, is it a disadvantage because you have level of exhaustion, or you got rid of all those? Yeah.
I think it's just skill checks, or is it also saving throws at level 1?
It, dep- it depends on your level of exhaustion, actually.
Well, even 12 at disadvantage.
So level 1 is ability checks. Level 2 is speed is
Okay.
halved.
Okay.
Paired.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
so yeah, he'd be out of those
straight roll
realms.
for, yeah, so it's just a straight roll
Yeah, it's just his
for
12.
saving throws. Even on a
Failed.
12, you didn't beat the saving throw. So you hear something scratching at the back of your head, and you kind of go to like swat it away, thinking it's a bug or something. But no, it's more like a nail, just ever so slightly scratching at the back of your head. As you kind of sit up and just like realize that you kind of get your bearings for half a second. You get that sensation of you're waking up from a deep sleep, and you almost forget for a second like where you are. And then it dawns on you like, oh, okay, I'm in the warehouse. I'm good. But then it hits you. That smell. That same sulfur and fire and burning. You know that smell well. And that voice reaches out to you. You haven't heard it in so long. You never wanted to hear it again. But she reaches out, and you can't fight it this time. Little brother, I'm getting closer. Daddy's special boy. Mommy's little favorite. You thought you could hide from me? You thought you could hide from us? Just tell me where we're at. You're free to respond if you want at any time. Tell me where you're at, so I can drag you back here so I can drag you back home. Tell me where you're at.
Just, just leave me alone.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Always crying, Maddie. Always whining, Maddie. Pathetic, you know that? You're weak. Just like we always told them you were. I'm gonna find you. And I'm going to claw you, drag you back here, kicking and screaming like the little impetuous, crying child that you are. You're never going to get to leave again. Tell me where you're at, Maddie.
I'm never coming back.
That's what you think. You know I can smell her on you. Your little friends. I can smell her stink on you even from here.
What?
I'm going to find you. And when I do, I'm going to kill her last. Just so you can watch before I drag you back home.
No!
The voice cuts out. And that's where we're going to end the session.
Dun, dun, dun.
Maddie, what's going on?